Welcome back to 1010's podcast with Michael and Adam and Robbie. And the man, the myth, the legend. Oh my God, it's Kevin Lawrence. Kevin Lawrence is on the phone. And I think really the question that everybody has on their mind is, have you recovered from the disease that Robbie gave you this year at PRI? It seems to be a trend.
It's still lingering, unfortunately.
No.
It's a bit rude, if I'm honest, Robbie.
No, it's rude that he blames me.
As we were saying before the show started, there is a direct correlation between the number of times Kevin Lawrence has interacted with you and the number of times he's been sick.
I'm still going to defend Robbie on this. It's too small of a sample size to really be taken seriously.
Yeah, we're going to have to hang out more. And then if he gets sick again, then it's...
Do you think he's going to take that risk? I wouldn't.
I also think they need to hang out at a time that's not December and see what
that's
happens.
the perfect time. Everyone's getting sick the first week of
that's
December.
not fair.
Yeah, maybe that might have something else to do with it, but until it's proven that it's something else, we're just going to blame Robbie.
Until we can go at a first week of December and not hang out. So
yeah,
true.
But if we keep going to PRI, it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
he's probably not going to come to our event next year, purely because of you.
No, there's pizza. He's got to come.
Wait,
Pizza.
is there pizza or was it punch and pie?
There wasn't any pie this time.
There's pizza pie piled high.
Okay, well that's fine.
So what's been going on? You're in the off season now. It looks like you guys are starting to get geared up. Did you guys get the car out again? Or are you starting to get ready for 2019 season?
Starting to get there. Right now, the main focus is because I ended up blowing a head gasket in the final round at Irwindale right before qualifying. So I got the car back together and had the exhaust manifold modified so I could put in some pressure sensors and another EGT gauge in it to kind of get some data so I could put it up on the dyno and see if I'm having any kind of issues with something, try and figure out why exactly the head gasket blew.
So what was this build on this engine? Because you changed this mid-season, right?
Mid-season. Yeah, this one it's RB30 block from like a Holden or Nissan from Australia, and then it's got a Brian Crower stroker kit in it, so it's like a 3.2 or just shy of a 3.2 liter in it. And then this year we finally went with like a CNC ported head from some local guys down here. Went bigger valves and everything, so we kind of went a lot bigger on this one. As far as the motor stuff, but the turbo we ended up staying around the same size. So I'm thinking that's where I'm having some of my issues with the car kind of getting a little hot for EGTs and all. I think we're just trying to make too much power for the size turbo we have, unfortunately.
Did you guys want to make that change earlier in the season, or was this something that just kind of came together mid-season and you ran with it?
It kind of came together like beginning of the year when we were trying to get the car together for the first round. We ran into some issues and ended up just running the first half of the season with a 3-liter with just like a stock crank in it. Mm-hmm. And so with the turbo then at that size, it was working and seemed okay. But once we ended up kind of getting a little bit extra displacement, a little higher compression out of it, is when we kind of started seeing some issues with the car wanting to foul plugs pretty often. And then like the EGTs just seemed like they were getting pretty hot for what they should have been at for the rounds. So unfortunately, then the last round is where it failed on me. Ended up kind of lifting the head just before qualifying at Irwindale, so I wasn't able to get the car together and back out just because of the timing. It happened like maybe 20-30 minutes or so before qualifying started, and had it happened after qualifying, I had a spare motor, everything in the trailer ready to go for it, head gaskets and all that to swap. But just unfortunately, the timing was just the worst it could have been.
So besides Irwindale, this is, I guess for people that don't know, to go back, this is really your rookie year in full pro. So there was a lot of tracks that you hadn't driven prior to this year. Yeah,
I think 3 of them were new to me this year. I think it was Jersey I've been to a few times but never driven. St. Louis was the new one for the whole field, really. And then what else was a new one for me? Long Beach, the first round, was one I'd never driven before. But all the other ones, they had like Pro and Pro 2 rounds, so I'd driven at those before in previous years.
Long Beach is kind of wild, isn't it? I mean, especially for someone who's never driven on that circuit before.
Yeah, it's pretty scary because like most of the tracks, like where you're at the start line, you can kind of see most of the track or see like the finish line. At Long Beach, you start and all you see is just a straight dead wall like in front of you, and you've pretty much got like, I want to say the track's about 3.5 or so lanes wide, and it's just K rails on both sides. So the first turn you kind of come in and enter about 60, 65-ish or so, and just kind of floor it and try and get out to that first wall, and then you have to switch back for that second one. And it's kind of nerve wracking because literally it's just you're kind of just playing ping pong or pinball or whatever, like between the walls. Like you have to touch one side and then go back to the other and then back out to this one, and it's kind of crazy.
I would have thought you were going into that first corner faster. That looks terrifying. It looks a lot faster than it is apparently, because there is zero room for error.
Yeah, there's not much out there, and the track is like, it kind of is pretty gripped up like once you enter, and then right when you get into that turn, you kind of like lose some grip in the car, and the car kind of floats out wide on its own. It kind of brings you out to that far line. And the first half of the event, I was, I think, overcooking the entry and coming in and trying to scrub speed, and just wasn't able to kind of get the line right, and ended up having the wreck in practice with the Skyline that we ended up having to take out for that event. And so we got that back together, and by the time it was, I was ready to actually get out there and actually do a full pull, practice was done for the day, and it was right into qualifying. So literally my first full complete pull, like pass of the track, was qualifying 1.
And that's a track that no one can practice on, isn't it?
Yeah, like that track, there's, because it's, it's part of the streets of actual Long Beach. It's some like the back roads and all that where we're using it. And so like throughout the year, there's nowhere for anyone to practice or test at. It's literally, all just mostly some of the section we're using is a parking lot. Some of it's like a back alley road. And so literally the only time you can get out there to drive it is right around the time of the Grand Prix for the Formula Drift event.
So there were a couple rounds, or maybe it was just one round. You ran the Skyline in Pro 2 also, because you had, was it just one Pro 2 entry this year?
Yeah, just one. We tried it to do, wanted to try and run both. And so the first round, which was Atlanta, we brought the Skyline out with, and it was a lot more work and that it was, we imagined for it, because literally that day we go out, and from jumping back and forth between the S14 and that one, I've got to try and adjust to the different power levels of the car, the different grip, much less like the different steering feedback and everything of the cars. But I was literally sitting between those two cars. It was drive time for like 5.5 hours before we had I had a solid break to really get out of the car. And it was a hot day, and it was just kind of a whole bunch for us to really get kind of sorted between the two, and then trying to adapt to the car as well. It was a whole bunch. So after that round there, I unfortunately didn't qualify for the Pro 2 side of it. I did for the Pro, and kind of made the decision there. I was like, it's just too much on me, as well as the guys trying to keep up with getting the cars together and ready and having tires ready for them. It was just too much time on track, especially for the hot days that, Atlanta has from time to time.
So now that you've done that once, do you guys want to try to gear up and do that, or just abandon that idea?
I think we're going to drop it for next year, unless I end up trying to run the same car, just so that we don't have to worry about adapting to like the steering and how the car is going to react. The grip level is a big enough change on its own for just changing for the Pro 2 size tire to the Pro tire, that it's that alone would be enough to try and have to focus on and really dial in between the two classes. So if we were going to do it again, it would probably be the same car, but as of right now, I don't think we have any plans to do both.
Because the Pro 2, you have to run a 245 or 255, something like that, or is it wider than that?
255 is where they limit you for that, and the cars have like a minimum weight, which is around like 2,900 pounds or so for Pro 2. But my car with my setup is quite a bit over that. I think we're around 3,080 or so, 3,100 pounds. So,
what's the Pro 1 tire?
Pro 1 is by weight. You can run up to, I think the biggest tire that is allowed is a 295, and my car is, I think, just shy of that size. I can run up to like a 285 if I want to, but the Nexon tire that I was running for this season was a 275/40, so it was still a pretty big tire and had a good sidewall, so it had plenty of grip for what it needed to do.
Is your car pretty heavy for Pro 1? I mean, there's Mustangs and stuff, and I'm sure the Ferrari's not light with all the superchargers and all that stuff.
I'm definitely not the lightest by any means, but I'm probably I'd say mid-pack with most people. I think around the weight of my car, around 3,100 pounds, I think is probably the average weight, because most people are trying to run like a 285, or some of them are trying to run the 295 tire. But
or are guys trying to bump up weight so that they can run the wide tire?
Yeah, some people are trying to, just so they can be like at the bottom of that weight class, but have the bigger tires, so that way they can try and use that for their advantage.
I don't know. For some reason, that strikes me as heavier than I would have thought. Maybe that's just weird. I don't know.
I know in like road racing, you just think, the heavier the car, the harder you are in consumables. The faster your tires heat up, the faster they're going to wear out, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, with what we're doing, we get about 2 laps as our max out of them anyway. And a lot of the rounds this year, the tires were barely even making it the 2 full passes. You get about 80% through on the second lap, and the tires would be down to pretty much cords at that point.
Is it noticeable? Like, can you tell? Yeah, this tire's on cords. Like, does it get real greasy, real icy, or what's the?
Oh yeah, definitely gets real greasy. In Seattle this year, I ended up running into that issue because in practice it's tough to really get a back-to-back set of passes. You go out, you do a lap, you get back in line and kind of go through. But when it comes to the battles, you do your first lead lap or follow lap, and then you switch positions and go back out. So there's a lot less time for the tires to cool down and anything like that. Plus, and usually in the battles, you're driving a little bit harder, try to be a little more aggressive just to get the leading edge of it. So in Seattle, I went out for my first pass, which was follow and die, gave him a pretty good follow run, and then go out for the lead. They pull us right back to the line, head out, and I'm flying through the bank at Seattle's track, and literally come into that first turn right after it, and I've completely, pretty much de-lammed the outside of the left tire and had absolutely nothing for the car. I ended up looping it there, and luckily enough, I had enough space to where Dye was able to see me, in trouble and kind of going on a wide line and kind of looping out to where he was able to shut down before, us making contact or anything like that.
So as a rookie, obviously we talked about the challenges of having 3 new places that you're driving at that you've not experienced before. But what are some of the other things that you felt like you ran into that were a drastic difference from running in Pro 2?
It's just a big jump as far as car setups go. I've driven on the bigger tire before, but it's been a few years since, actually running on like a 275 tire. So having to get used to running on, a car that's even more gripped up for the tire and the speeds now that the car are capable of in drift. It's crazy as I had to learn to, at some of the tracks for the run up before the first turn, I had to hold myself back because in Pro 2, there's a lot less grip, and I'm used to just kind of flooring it all the way through the run on the run up, hucking the car in, and I'm at about the right speed, give or take a few miles an hour. Now with the bigger tire, more grip, I can overshoot a lot of those turns way easier. And so that was something to have to really try and figure out to dial in when it comes to qualifying and all that. Was one of the issues. And 2, just everyone's so fast out there. So many of the other cars are just incredibly fast in their own ways and in their own areas. Some of them are right out of the gate way faster on the straight line, but into the first turn you can kind of catch up to them and then struggle behind them because you're a lot faster in that area. And then vice versa, some of them are way fast in those turns, but you'd be able to pass them before the front clip or the first entry clip if you wanted to. So it's trying to figure out everyone's different car setup and how they drive was a pretty, tough thing to figure out. With Pro 2, a lot of the cars are heavier. They're all on the same tire. So everyone's kind of speeds were really similar. There wasn't anyone that really had a crazy speed difference. But when it comes to Pro 1, everyone's got different advantages in different areas. So that was something hard to try and really dial in and figure out.
Yeah, it is kind of wild. I don't think I really appreciated the difference between the Pro 2 and the Pro cars until I went to St. Louis because, I think it was Travis Reeder's car I was looking at. I mean, that's just, not to say that, not to take anything away from Travis or his car, his team or anything like that, but somebody could build that car, if they dedicated themselves to it, and it's a reasonable horsepower level. It's 450 or something like that, and I wouldn't say that we have anything local that's at that level quite, but it's a lot closer for sure than a full pro level car.
But the difference between them is nuts. Just being out there, you can just see physically the speeds when they're on throttle, how much faster the Pro 1 cars are than all the Pro 2 stuff.
But I think that doesn't translate super well when you're watching it on YouTube.
Yeah, that's probably the hardest part to realize. Except you guys are saying with Long Beach, it seems like you're coming in a lot faster. I always thought the same thing. I was like, oh yeah, you're just blasting down that front straight and hugging at this wall, and then didn't realize till later that it's all right, if I kind of roll into it a little bit slower, it sets me up way better for the first turn and then gets me on that better line. So it's kind of tough to really judge a lot of that stuff off of, watching the live stream or YouTube or something like that.
So on a place like that, this isn't a good example this year because obviously you said you had some challenges for practice, but if you're going to go into that and have, kind of a functioning car that you're not having to mess with a whole lot, how many practice runs can you get?
Well, this is the first year that they actually started limiting us.
Okay.
Formula D put in a rule to limit to where we're only allowed to do, it was 12 laps before qualifying.
Was it just people that had super well set up cars were just going out there and killing it?
I think is what it was. Some of the teams were going out there and getting, probably 20, 25 or so laps before qualifying. Other teams would go out and have to do a setup change or had maybe an issue with the car, something like that, we only get like 3 or 4 or something. So FD kind of put a cap on it to try and make it a little more level for everyone. So everyone has the same amount of time to adapt and make their changes to go out for the qualifying. And then after qualifying, once you go into tandem practice before like the top 32, it's just however many you can get in the allotted time.
Oh, right. Okay. So I guess, was there anything else from 2018 that are your takeaways going into the 2019 season? Obviously, there was a lot of building going on and adding to your experience, but what are some of those things that you kind of picked up on that you want to make sure that you carry into 2019?
It's every year we try and be, as prepped and as ready as you can, and it's just something you can't always be 100% on. Every year we make changes to like our packing list for our trailer to make sure we have all our spare stuff, as well as, trying to monitor any additional things we can on the car. Like I said, we've changed and added some pressure sensors in the exhaust manifold for the car that we're going to go test on the dyno, EGT sensors and stuff like that. Like just additional things that we're going to have that I'm probably going to leave on for not the full event, but maybe at least the Thursday practice or something, just so I have numbers to see how the car's doing and be ready and try and see if, maybe I can see something's about to fail and, either hold practice off if I have to, cut it early or whatever and save the car to do like a qualifying lap and then worry about doing either an engine swap or a turbo change or something like that for, that evening, just trying to make sure you get into the show. It's a lot of it with FD is it's preparation, really. You got to be ready, really, because anything can happen and, just kind of do your best to have whatever you can on hand. There's a couple times.
Who's pulling that data from your car? Or is that something you're looking at after you do a run?
I got one of my crew guys, Ant, who's going to be back with us at every round next year. He knows like tuning and all that as well. I know a bit. I can just kind of see the numbers once we get the car tuned through my tuner Martin. I've got all the logs in for the data for when the car's on the dyno, and when it's out at the track, I can see the numbers and kind of compare and go from there. So, I'll jump on and try and pull a log if I can at the end of each day just to see what everything's going and just be ready for the next day, as well as if I feel like the car's doing something weird, I'll have one of the guys just pull a log off of like one of the runs from practice and we'll go from there.
One thing that might be kind of interesting for people to know about is what your team and your experience wants to carry for spares, because you're not Warthouse, you're not carrying an extra car. Super bizarre. But kind of what are the expendable pieces that you guys seem like you are constantly using that's, easy for you guys to throw on the trailer, there's a lot of value for?
It's not really so much as like expendable stuff. Like I said, our list kind of grows every year from usually a previous year's failure of something. Literally like things like power steering lines, high pressure lines, low pressure lines, spare bunch of, like fuel pumps. My car runs mechanical and an electronic water pump, so I've got a spare of the electronic one in the back because I've seen just randomly, someone have a failure. It wasn't us one year, but I've seen someone have a failure, and it's like, all right, well, that's something that could go wrong. Let's have it on hand. Pretty much any of the small items of the car that can be replaced, we try and have on hand. Like I've got a spare ECU, axles, drive shafts, all that stuff. For years we didn't have a spare drive shaft because we're like, oh yeah, no one breaks a drive shaft. And we were actually talking to one of our friends from one of the other teams, and he was talking to Ant about it, and he's like, "Oh, you guys don't have a spare drive shaft?" We're like, no, we never broke one. We never need it. And he goes, "Oh, well, he was our buddy Nate was working for Odie at the time, and he's like, oh, well, Odie broke one a year ago, so now we've got a spare at all times." And literally, Ant looks at him and goes, "I swear, if we break a drive shaft this round, I'm coming after you." and sure enough, like 4 laps later, it was when me and Nate were driving together. Nate goes out and snaps the end of the drive shaft right off of it. And so, luckily, it was Thursday practice at Orlando, and so we were able to run to a local drive shaft shop and have them replicate our drive shaft for us that night and build us one. So we had it for Friday practice and then qualifying there for him. But ever since then, now it's like we've got a spare drive shaft. Like, so there's axles, wheel bearings, studs, lug nuts, all that stuff. Like, it's all random when it can go. You got to throw tires on the car real quick and cross thread a lug nut or lug stud. So we've got plenty of spares for stuff like that. It's almost anything and everything you can kind of think of, we try and have if we can. I've got a spare engine. I don't have a spare gearbox, but I do have spare sets of the replaceable parts inside of it for like the dog faces and the slider rings and all that. So luckily I haven't, had the instance of where I've shattered a gear or rung a gear of the transmission, but we're working to build up the budget and the program to have a spare gearbox and a spare differential at all times, just in case.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a huge expenditure to carry all that stuff in the trailer, but you got to pay to play.
Exactly.
But it takes time to get there too.
So, the first thing everyone assumes with drifting, do you carry spare bumpers, or do you just deal with it?
Yeah. We usually I try and have 2 rear and at least 1 front at all times if I can. It depends on how close the events are.
Yeah, those take up a lot of real estate in the trailer.
Here's an interesting question. Your wrap is not as simple as some other ones. Is that a pain in the ass for bumpers?
It is at times, yeah. Luckily, we've been good and had some good vinyl guys that are usually what we do is try and get the car done beginning of the year, and then we'll have some of the spares done right then and there. And so that we have the spares done and wrapped, pre-event, we go there, and if I end up messing one up, we'll order in another one. And while the car's there, they can match up lines and body work, so that way it matches for the next round.
I think maybe it was Bert that brought this up, Zach Burt. He was talking about, or we were talking, this would have been the beginning of the season, but we were talking about like Turek, the race services, vinyl wrap and all that stuff. Their bumpers are a different color. And their wrap is a lot more simple for this year.
Right.
And so we were wondering if was wondering if that was why. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna bet that's probably why they did that, was just for the ease of, in between rounds, just getting a bumper, just one solid color wrap, and maybe just throwing some sponsor logos on it or something was going to be a lot easier than trying to line up, artwork or body lines or something like that. Yeah,
you've got sponsors on your bumpers. That's what I was wondering about. So you got to make sure that stuff gets back on the car.
Yeah. As soon as we can. Like I say, usually always try and have I try and have 2 rear bumpers and 1 front bumper for every round if I can. It just depends. Sometimes the rounds are super close in between, and if usually if I've messed up a rear bumper, I've got something else I've got to work on behind it that I've probably messed up. So we're not always able to get an additional spare ready at times, but I think I did pretty well this year as far as all my body work. I think I actually came back from the final round with 1 spare brand new bumper for the rear, and I think a pretty decent looking front one. So,
hey, it's the little things, right?
Yeah.
Like, what do they want from you?
Is FD kind of like NASCAR, where your car has to be almost flawless the day before an event, or is it more laid back?
It's a little more laid back. Obviously, they know the sport is a lot more, I guess, contact oriented than some of the other stuff. I mean, obviously NASCAR and all that, there's a bunch of, the guys out there bumping each other, rubbing all that. But, with us, when they're trying to get us to run, 3 inches off a wall, there's going to be quite a bit of errors where people are, bumping into it and tearing the bumpers off or tearing taillights and all that out. They do like to see, at least, for qualifying, the car look as 100% as it can. But, the judges and all that are there, the day of before watching like practice before qualifying. So they'll see if you had some kind of bad accident or something like that before, and if you make it to the line, usually they're stoked that you're able to get the car out and get it going, and then just hope that maybe by Saturday, if you qualify, you'll have the bodywork kind of repaired. But usually for qualifying, they want to see it. It just kind of depends on how the event's going for you.
That makes sense.
Are you guys going to look at changing the vinyl for 2019?
Yeah, we're going to do new livery for the car. We're probably still going to stay with 2F for the Super Doof kits. So it'll be the same body work, but we're looking to definitely doing probably some new livery and hopefully something a little brighter. So
I dug the brown. I like the 2017 car a lot too. So
yeah, it's unique.
Yeah, that one I think was my highlight so far. So I got to try and work up to get something to beat that. But that's going to be tough.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I think the cars are getting a little bit more simple. I guess we'll see what guys decide to do next year. But it seemed like everybody kind of simplified everything, probably for ease of repair. But then you got the Vaptasia car and the Coral Works car and all that are still pretty loud. But it's cool to see. So talk about as I would kind of qualify you as more of a grassroots level driver, I guess. You kind of came up through the ranks and you haven't been doing this. You're not Vaughn Gittin.
Yeah.
You've not been doing it for
still like
many years, 15 years.
Yeah, they classify like a privateer.
Yeah.
And all. Yeah. We're still, I think, honestly, I'm pretty sure like me, like Enjuku, like our team is like one of the longest running privateer teams in FD. We've been in it since I think the second year or so. We've had a car pretty much every year. So, we're not like factory backed or, obviously there's not like Nissan or, Ford or anything like that on the cars. So it's all run through, Enjuku is the main title and program sponsor.
So what challenges do you have as sKevinLawrence as far as marketing? Because with FD and the fact that we live in 2019 now when this comes out, or be close to 2019, you have, I think, a different level of responsibility than someone that did 15 years ago as far as marketing.
Yeah, like now definitely, a lot of sponsors and the series itself is looking for, obviously they want to see like a social media push. A lot of sponsors and teams are really looking for, YouTube content and stuff now. I think that's kind of where everything's kind of revolving and shifting into, which is like YouTube content. So next year we're looking to definitely up my, like my social media presence as well as like content that we're putting out through the Enjuku's like YouTube page. So we're working up some ideas to try and do either maybe like the rebuild series of the car getting refreshed, as well as like, event recaps and maybe some kind of behind the scenes stuff at the events to kind of change up a little bit. A lot of guys do, like the basic event recap stuff, but we were thinking about doing it maybe as more of like a kind of behind the scenes thing. Not so much as like how the event's going, but the build up to it and then what's going on at the nights at the events and all that. So
all that stuff is such a huge challenge. I really wonder about YouTube as a format because I feel like the market's super saturated.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's why we don't do YouTube content as much anymore. We do the show, but like, why does anybody want to watch us do anything with our cars? Like, that's an honest question. Like, who gives a fuck? In all seriousness.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's tough. To try and get that, and build your reach because the market, for YouTube obviously has gotten pretty saturated and a lot of people have jumped on it and started channels and different things that, that they're trying to do to build their own following. So it's tough. It's, it's the whole social media and like marketing thing it's a tough thing to really understand because by the time you think you've got it figured out, it's completely changed.
Yep.
And there's another thing, there's a next thing, it's like there was, MySpace, then Facebook and then Instagram and Snapchat and all that. It's like everything's always changing. So, anytime you can kind of come up with some new ideas for content, and how you're going to release it is obviously something that you really got to sit down and think on. And is this going to draw attention or, people going to want to watch it? Or are you going to come back to watch the second one? It's a whole tough thing to really try and keep up with and trying to see what everyone else is doing to try and stay within, relevancy is what everyone in the same, I guess, market is doing is kind of another thing you want to do as well. But also branching out and doing something new and different isn't always a bad thing either.
Yeah. Yeah, for some reason, the only thing that really appeals to me on YouTube that's Formula Drift related is Frenemies.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because I like Odie and Matt, or if there's some, I don't know, or something different about that. I'm not really sure.
Or just how they're doing it or something, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit of all of it, isn't it?
Yeah, I like Matt Field. Yeah, I think he's just something about, well, I like his car, obviously, because it's LS based, which is better. We've talked about that. And then, but
None of that RB
he didn't have to swap
right?
it. It was ready. It was ready.
it was ready to go. Yeah, I think he just drove it straight off the used car lot and straight on the track. I think that's what he said.
I think they just pulled the AC compressor off and then sent it right through tech.
Yeah, that was the video I watched for sure.
Yeah, that's what I saw. In all seriousness, though, I think it's funny that Stratton runs like the dash with the radio in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got power windows in it. The radio's still in it.
It's Corvette, man. They're supposed to be kind of comfy while still being fun.
What I would aspire to would be to
have your AC on.
It's the old man sports car.
It is the old man sports car. But yeah, so I guess I didn't really have a point necessarily on that, but sometimes things work and you don't know why they work. I guess was my point.
Truth.
I don't know why I like watching that, but I do. And I really don't like watching stuff on YouTube that often. There's about 3 or 4 things that I watch. For some reason, that's appealing, and I don't have any idea why. I want to watch that.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't watch anything else that they produce.
Yeah, and what they're doing is working. Obviously, they're getting views and all that for it. So it's cool that they went out and kind of tried to do their own spin on it, and it's actually working well for them.
Yeah. So if you can carve out something that works for you, it's great. It's not like 10 or 8 or 5 years ago or whatever when you could throw something out there and get a pretty good reach. It's just, there's so much content out there, so it creates a lot of challenges, obviously.
Yeah, definitely.
So, kind of transitioning from 2018 into 2019, you've kind of talked a little bit about some of the lessons learned and things that you want to look forward to in 2019. But what are you excited about with this new season?
Moving into 19, I'm just excited that at least I've got the first year behind me. I've been around FD for quite a few years now. I know a lot of drivers that have worked their way up and seen the struggles of the first year. And I know that when I went into 2018, I knew it was going to be, a tough year and there was going to be a lot of surprises, which there was. So I'm kind of, really excited just so that I know that I've got the first year under my belt and we were able to make all the rounds, and less the final one, we were able to go out and have a good showing and qualify at least at all rounds and go out there. So now I've got the jitters of that whole thing behind me and have driven it now at all the tracks. So going to next year, it's more of, I know I'm going to be running the same car. We're not really doing much changes as far as the setup. We're just doing a couple updates to the chassis for some safety things as far as like seat mounting, putting a larger tunnel, transmission tunnel in it so I can get a scatter shield kind of blanket over the transmission.
Damn it, Kevin.
I've
been paranoid about shit exploding.
Yeah, I'm terrible with it. Yeah, so I really like my feet, want to keep them. So that's my number one priority for going into next year is getting that on the car.
That's not in the rules unless it's changed. I looked.
It's not mandatory in all the rule books. They do recommend it if you can. With my setup, how it was last year, the trans tunnel was a factory one still, and it was just too tight to kind of fit the the blanket up around and get it strapped to the bell housing properly. So we're allowed to modify the tunnels a little more freely as far as I think it started last year. So I'm jumping into that so I can get that on the car and feel a little safer. So that way I'm not too worried about anything coming through the car.
Is that all you're doing? Is the SFI blanket?
Yeah, I'm just going to do just one of the basic kind of like SFI kind of blankets that kind of wrap around. I want something that's relatively easy, to remove, if need be, if I got to do a quick clutch job or something like that. I haven't been able to find an SFI, actual rated bell housing. Otherwise, I would probably go that route. But I haven't seen any for the RB. I guess that's kind of my fault for doing an engine that not many people are really supporting here in the States. So
they do make... I apologize. They do make an LS one, but it's very expensive.
I was going to go there if you didn't, so it's good.
It's many monies. So
yeah,
for someone who doesn't,
but it is available. So.
It is available. Yes.
Yeah,
I guess
say that.
if more
I looked
people
around a little bit, I think beginning of last year, and I didn't see a bell housing that was SFI for the RB, or if there was one, it might not have worked with my transmission setup, maybe, or something. So
I think maybe if more people were drag racing RBs, you may have that option.
Have you looked at Australia? Because apparently that's
it's big over there. But
Yeah.
I tried to find looking through online, but I don't know. With down in Australia, maybe I have to like turn the monitor upside
Turn the
down or
computer
something to
upside
find it.
Also, I don't think Australians give two shits about safety.
Have you seen
They definitely make it.
that? What do they call
You
that?
might be right.
Power. It's not Power Tour. What do they call that?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're
where
talking
they're
about.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
The
one.
rolling drag racing burnouts. Is that
Yeah.
what you're talking about?
Where they get out on the
really
or
just
they
do
get out on the
crazy
racetrack.
drag burnouts.
They just get out on the racetrack and like drag race each other down the straightaways, and then take the corners and then drag race each other down the straight. It's just open. Just do whatever you want.
And I think they're mostly usually in like tank tops, shorts, and flip flops.
Flip-flops, yep.
Yeah.
That's the national uniform for
And
Australia.
then there's the burnout
with their
contests
with your mullet.
and the cars that have like the axles that have been moved forward so that they spin quicker when you're doing donuts and
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably why you can't find a bell housing.
Yeah.
They don't
one day I
care.
can get one.
Australia.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that modification as well because I got to take my engine out. Because I don't know why. Well, I do. For some reason, the losing your feet thing came up in my feed at some point, and then the guy from I can't remember what the name of the company is. The guy that I bought my angle kit from, he has Villains. He's got an LS FC RX-7, and his exploded.
Oh, that was
and
nasty.
Shot past the passenger's foot.
Yeah.
Up through the cowl. He had a GoPro, and it shot through the cowl, and you could see it go past the windshield. And I was like, okay, that's just kind of a normal car, and that was bad.
Yep.
That was very bad.
Yeah, that's my biggest worry too. I don't know what it is, but all of the videos I've seen of that happening, for some reason the flywheel or whatever is actually coming out, whether it's clutch or flywheel, usually tends to go to the right, and that's the side I'm on.
I think that's
that's right. It is.
It's probably rotational
Something or another.
force there.
Yeah.
And that's why it
Yeah,
does
I don't know exactly why it's all spinning, in a circle, but it just always seems to want to go on to the right side, and that's not what I want to risk.
Yep.
I never thought about that for you specifically.
Yep.
That's true.
Are you the only right-hand drive car?
No, I think there's 3 or 4 others. I believe I know.
Probably all the Europeans.
I think Dai went to right-hand drive a couple years back. He went back to that, and then Kazuya in the GTR was right-hand drive.
The Warthouse cars. Right-hand drive?
James's car is, but Peter's is not.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah. And then I think
That's how
I
you
think
tell
that
them apart.
spare car they have, I believe, is right-hand drive. So
I couldn't believe that. It's like there's another car in there. Okay.
yeah.
Well,
I really wish they would have done that spare car with like center drive in it, so that way if one of them blows up on Thursday,
It's closer.
it's not favorited towards either which one who has the spare car. It's just like figure it out
I would have been more impressed if they put steering wheels on both sides.
on both sides. Yeah.
Yeah, then you just switch it over or whatever.
Yeah.
You just flip the rack. Flip
How
the
hard?
steering rack
How
over.
hard is? I bet that rack bolts in and out real quick. How hard would it be?
Yeah, I mean, really, it wouldn't. I don't think it would be that bad if you just had like another column there. You just gotta like have both the columns maybe mounted, and you just have like a place to lock the shaft for the other side that's not in use or whatever, off to the side or something.
I like it.
That sounds like something they could do. Their budget's unlimited, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
They can figure it out.
They're gonna hear this and start looking into that now.
I swear to God, if that's what happens, if they end up doing that, they owe us a show. I'm just saying.
Right? Yeah. Just put the copyright paperwork in now.
But we should talk about, before we talk about 2019 anymore, you did go one more time with Peter, which was
I did.
fucking huge, and I was screaming at the TV the entire time.
I remember that.
I was screaming in the car.
You drove away from him on one of those leads.
Yeah, you did. You
That car
totally
just hooked up and
disappeared.
left.
Yep.
I was like,
Yeah,
there's
I
no
was-
way he's walking away from that car, and you just were gone.
Yeah, I was super surprised with that, and as well as he was as well, because he came by after on the first pair of battles and came up to me and was just like, he was like speechless. He's like, your car, I had nothing. It was just gone. Like he
Just waving.
didn't know what to say. But no, it was awesome to really go out there and finally get, a good battle in with him, and, kind of show those guys that, I've got it there. I just got to really fine tune, my driving itself. And we ended up getting the one more time battle, and then just my nerves got to me. I was like, oh, we're going one more time. This is great. This is awesome.
I thought your one more time looked good too. I mean, it was hard. They were still splitting hairs, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Granted, I was really biased, but I was like, he's got it.
Yeah. I was hoping it was going to go one more time again. I mean, it really did look. It looked really good.
Yeah, no, I was stoked on it, and everyone's like, "Oh, you should be so upset! Like they totally robbed you on that." I was like, "No, like I'm totally fine with it. Like I know I had my mistakes. Sure he had his as well, but as far as I know what I did, I was like mine probably outweighed his, and I go back after each one and try and watch the replays from the FD event and try and spot and see if I can notice what the judges notice. And most literally I think 9 times out of 10 I always agree with how the judges go on the calls, so definitely wasn't upset with that one, and at least got a good battle for the year, for the rookie year, against the guy that was third in the championship this year. So it was cool.
Yeah, he's on the list for a championship. There's no doubt. Yeah. He's killer. He's super consistent.
Yep. Yeah, him and James are nuts with their consistency, and I think next year, as Peter gets more comfortable with driving here in the States, I think him and James are going to be the big battle for the championship next year. I think they're both going to surpass maybe Osbo and even Vaughn. Vaughn had a good year, especially at the end, showing up and shredding in Irwindale. So I think he's going to turn up a bit next year, but I think Peter and James are going to be the ones fighting it out for the championship.
Chelsea did really well too, because this is technically his second year, right?
In the Mustang, yeah.
Yeah. I thought he did exceptionally well. I mean, he got third and
getting in that chassis, and even last year he had a pretty decent year for a new car, a new chassis he's never really driven. And then this year to be second year in and get some podiums was rad.
He just drives really hard. I don't know what it takes to have that level of confidence, but especially for a car that's underpowered.
Yeah.
Compared to the rest of the grid, I think him and Stratton probably have two of the least powerful cars, and we're talking like 750 horsepower. So take it relatively, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, there's some lower ones out there. I know Van Kirk's car. I think his is under 6. Honestly,
is it really?
I think he was saying it was like 580 or 590 or something.
What's he doing?
He still throws down though. I mean,
no, he kills it. Yeah.
What is your car at?
My car last year we were right around 850.
Jesus. Yeah. That's plenty.
You should take that to a drag strip sometime just for shits and giggles.
I want to. I'm just terrified.
Put that in a YouTube video.
Yeah, there you go. I'd watch that.
Like, don't change your alignment or anything. Just show up at a drag strip and
just do it.
Just run the flat spotted front tires and the bent wheels and all that, and just go run about $160 down the track.
It's not that far. You'll be fine.
Yeah. What's the worst that can happen?
It's less distance than you're used to.
And we know a track that has a drift track right next to a drag track.
That's a good point.
You could just say it,
and you've been there.
You could just do a drift day and then roll right into a no prep.
You could come hang out with me for once.
They actually had one of those when I was up there, when I passed through for that Omaha event, when I brought the car out there.
It seems to be a thing.
Recall that at all.
Every time that there's a drift day, there's also a no prep there that night for some reason.
Which is super fun to be at.
I don't recall you being in town.
I was there. You weren't.
I don't think that's true. That didn't happen.
That picture says otherwise.
No, that's not Trevor at all in that photo.
That's not Omaha. That's
not even Omaha. That's for sure Florida.
Look at all the ocean. Look at all those palm
trees. I passed through again.
When did you pass through again?
I passed through again, and I think I Facebook messaged you. I said, "Hey, I'm on my way back home. I parked off on this exit. This truck stopped to sleep, and I think I gave you like a breakfast order."
That was at 3 a.m. I remember that one. That doesn't count.
Should have hit me up. I was probably working that night. I was probably up.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey, you want to go to breakfast?" And I got the message in the morning. I was like, "Yeah, he's kidding. There's no way he's actually over here."
It was specific information. It was an exit number. I think it was a Love's or a Flying J truck stop or something.
Oh, man. You could have ate at Max's Diner.
Right?
All right, I will try to be more available to hang out with Kevin Lawrence when he comes through Iowa, I guess, which would those were probably my 2 opportunities, and that was it.
Yeah, either going to Seattle or on the way back is usually my times through.
I suppose Long Beach, you just stay south the whole time, don't you?
Yeah, I usually just run like I-10 just
Straight
from
across,
east to west,
pretty much.
straight down. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's you.
Oh.
You drive yourself with the like your rig and all that, don't you?
I got another crew guy that rides with me, and he does some of the driving as well.
Oh, perfect.
The rest of the guys
Yeah.
fly in.
Yeah, like some of my guys last year were based out of California, and then some guys
okay.
out of here. So, 2 of us from here would drive out, and then a lot of the other guys would just kind of fly in.
How many guys do you have on a crew on any given weekend?
I've usually got 3 guys that like are around and kind of tend to the car, and then I've got a spotter, and then I've got a photographer I fly in, as well as usually per round I'll hire on one of the normal like guys that are out there doing video footage and stuff like that. I'll hire like one of them on just to kind of give me some footage and recap stuff that I can have edited for like YouTube stuff and all that for down here.
I gotcha. So you have spotters like during runs, or
Yeah,
Or are they
they're
just
out
talking to
there
you
for the
afterwards?
runs. I don't have like my spotter. We don't talk like I don't have him like yelling at me like mid run or anything like that. I really probably couldn't hear him anyway. But some of the teams, it's funny as they do is I know one of the Pro 2 teams. I forget his name. One of the guys from Canada. But I know my spotter was telling me that his spotter is literally like they're mid run and he's yelling at him in French, like telling him, what to do and all that like mid run. So I don't know how they're able to hear each other, but I guess it's working because he ended up doing pretty good in Irwindale. It was the bright orange car for most of the year, and I think the final round he showed up, it was like bright yellow.
The only one I
so
could come
many-
up would be Hatley or Hatley. That's the only orange car I can think of.
No, it's a S14, I think 15 front on it. And I literally chatted with the guy a couple times, and I just can't think of his name right now off the top of my head.
Can't think of it either.
Yeah,
There's a lot of people screaming at their
absolutely.
iPhone right now, but that's okay.
You idiots, you know.
Yeah.
You morons, all of you.
How do you not know?
There's a lot of Pro 2 cars, man. What do you want from us?
Also,
there is a lot. Yeah, it's
to
crazy.
be fair, when you're like, I'm looking at this thing, which is showing Kevin recording and trying not to peek out the levels, and I'm looking at the mixer, and I'm looking at my notes and these questions, and Robbie's running that thing, and blah, blah, blah.
And you're actually listening
I'm
to the
sorry,
conversation.
I forgot somebody's name. Like, I can't do people's names when that's all I have to focus on, and I'm sorry that, So anyway, I think people understand that. They just like to give us shit.
Yeah, it happens.
Fact.
Here's a weird question. It just kind of came up as we were talking about spares, and it just made me think about this. Do you guys replace the brakes on the car very often?
Actually, no. I think my brakes, I think mine are about 3 or 4 seasons now on the car.
Oh, okay. So no, not at all.
Yeah.
Does that
But,
include the? I assume you use a hydraulic e-brake.
Yeah, it's got a hydraulic handbrake.
So is that a second caliper setup, or do you still?
Yeah, it's second set in the rear for for the handbrake, and then I do like driving. You use a good bit of foot brake on some of the tracks for just kind of like 2-foot driving, like left foot brake and all that. But like really like we don't use it nowhere near as much as like a road racing or anything like that. So like I said, my stuff's been I think 3 seasons on the car now, and every year we I pull the calipers down, pull everything apart, clean it, and kind of check everything through. And if everything's still good, they get cleaned up and put back on.
Put that in the pro category for the pros and cons for drifting, I guess.
What are you running for brakes?
Running actually, they're like Z32 rear calipers.
Yep.
And the front is like R32 GTR, which is like the same as pretty much like Z32 fronts. It just runs like a 290 mil rotor instead of like a 280 or something. So it's just a little bit bigger rotor.
Okay.
So wait, you're running 350 brakes.
I got 350Z brake pads and then 350Z rotors and 300ZX pads.
Oh, okay.
So I got the track day
Calipers.
pads.
Yeah.
Yes, and pads, calipers and pads.
Right.
That's in Robbie's drift car. He was just telling me before
Oh.
we started that he's going to be
Yeah.
converting his car for drift. He's got an angle kit on his road race car, Kevin.
Yeah.
It's good for autocross.
It's to get me out of trouble.
It's good for autocross. Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's to get you out of
For that snap
trouble when you're on a
oversteer.
full lock drift.
For that snap oversteer.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
I think
Yeah.
that angle kits are an untapped market in autocross.
Yeah, there's actually, I think it's GK Tech. They make like a lot of drift parts.
Yep.
But they also make a front knuckle for like road racing stuff. It has like a little bit quicker steer, I think, in it, but it doesn't have like all the Ackerman taken out of it or something like that for like their normal drift knuckle.
That makes sense.
Wisefab makes full kits for road racing and rally.
I'll say, yeah, I think Wisefab did as well. Yeah.
Yep.
What kit are you running on your car? What's the manufacturer?
It's a Wisefab up front.
Is it? Okay.
Yep.
So we do have somebody with a Wisefab.
It plays into the conspiracy.
Yeah, we have a weird conspiracy about Wisefab. Have we talked about it on the show?
I think so.
Yeah.
No one actually
buys them.
They're only on.
So I
Pro
said
cars
that. I said
and
that.
show
And then,
cars.
no, there's a guy locally that runs a Wisefab kit. Semi-locally, so people are buying them.
They're poking holes in that.
I mean, I'm buying them.
We think they're only on pro cars and show cars.
Yeah, maybe. But
That
I
guy's-
mean, there's some people out here that are running them for like street cars and all.
They live in a different tax bracket than I do.
I think that's part of the problem is we can't afford them. We can't afford them, so nobody can
Or
afford
we
them.
choose not to
Right.
anyway.
Yep.
But yeah, that guy that runs the Wisefab kit that I saw, he's just running a 350Z.
Like a
I mean,
pretty,
it's a cool car, but
pretty
it's
basic car.
I think so. Other than like he's got a cool livery, but
Yeah.
it's like a. But he's
Not
still
built
running.
to the hilt.
No, I don't think so. It's not like swapped and supercharged and blah blah blah. It's
Right.
just
It's not, is it that one that ran an MDU? Not that one?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
No, I think he's Midwest, but I don't think he was with MDU.
Okay.
And then the guys in Texas run them too.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen those, but
Yep.
so anyway, I got a couple fan questions. Was there anything else for 2019 that you can think of? Do you feel more confident going into 2019?
Yeah, I feel better. I think going into there, just like I said, because mainly I got the first year kind of behind me. I'm working now to try and get a bunch of driving that I can in the off season, whether it's in the pro car once I get it kind of refurbed and back together before the season starts, or like the shop. We've got that R32. I'm trying to just get as much seat time as I can to get ready for it. A lot of tandem driving whenever I can. So
Was the 32 for sale?
we had it up for sale for a bit because it really wasn't getting used. It was just kind of sitting around. And then after beginning of this year, we ended up having issues with my pro car, and we ended up having to take the 32 to Long Beach anyway. We realized maybe it's not a bad idea to kind of keep it around for a spare car. So
It was like a totally not unreasonable amount of money, and I was trying to decide how much I hated myself financially. For like a brief moment, I was like, "That's not that much money."
For what
No,
you
yeah,
get, it's
for,
a
for
great
what
deal.
for what it had in it, and what the price that we had it up for. No, it was a really good deal, honestly, for anyone. We had some people come look at it, but I think they didn't think it was the caliber of a car that it actually was. I think maybe just based on the price tag, and then they came and looked at it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is really like 100% all out, like a race car."
You mean I can't just drive this to Cars and Coffee?
I can put a license plate on this, right?
Yeah, I can register
Yeah.
this, right? In Iowa?
Didn't somebody show up thinking that was a street car?
Yeah, there were some people that came by, and he was like looking at it and thought that it was. He thought maybe more like a weekend kind of car that he'd be able to like, I can maybe drive around every once in a while. And
Not really.
he came in, sat down in it, and I think really once we just went to fire it up and he heard the fuel pumps kind of prime and all that, he was like, "Oh, okay."
I get it now.
My bad.
It's like when Danny George's car came up for sale last year too. I was like, man,
That E36.
That's pretty sick.
Or 46, whatever
Yeah.
it was.
but
Yeah, that car would be rad.
I miss Danny George. Hopefully he
Yeah,
surfaces again.
yeah, he'll probably show back up.
He was fun.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, definitely. The one last thing I did want to ask you. So you've got the drift car in the UK as well. You bought a 180 SX.
Yeah, well, it's over there. They're 200 SXs.
Okay.
Yeah, it's S13 hatch over there. I bought it as a. It was just like a bare shell that was caged. The previous owner had an RB in it, so it's kind of set up for it. It's got like a rear rad in it, and then like a fuel system is all still there in it from when I bought it from this guy. I went over in like February and was able to put some time into it and get it up on suspension, rolling again, and just been trying to figure out how to get more time to get over there and really get it together to try and run it. I was lucky enough to have a buddy over there, Adam Simmons over there from Slide Motorsport. Met up with him what was it, Irwindale this year. Talked to him for a bit, and I was coming over anyway for like the BDC finals over there, and he was actually going to sit out that round. So he's like, "Hey man, just come drive my car." And like I thought he was joking. I was like, "No, there's no way. He's just going to tell me to come over and jump in his car." And I was like, "Well, we were at the track drinking or whatever," and because I didn't qualify, so I was having a good day. And the next day, he's talking to me. He's like, "No, for real. Like, just come over and I've got tires, everything sorted for it. Just put gas in the car and drive it." And so Lily got to go over and jump in his car and drive this R33 at the final round of BDC, which was a blast.
I think that's the car you've got pulled up now, Robbie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's kind of purpley. Is that purple?
No, it's a red.
No,
Is it
it's red?
No, it's it's a red, like a darker red.
Yep. That's right.
Yep.
That brought up another question when you said tires. So you ran Nexen this year.
Yep.
We talked about you separating from another sponsor last year a little bit, I think, when you were on the show last time. So you ran Nexen this year. Was that a good experience?
Yeah, the tires themselves were great. I only had issues, like I said, at one round, just not knowing how they were going to perform, on that specific track with the back-to-back just heat exposure to them. But I mean, the tire itself was good. All the dudes over there, a lot of them. What's crazy is a lot of the guys from Hankook that ran like the tire bussing, like mounting and dismounting of the tires, were brought over into the Nexen side then afterwards. A lot of the same guys I used to hang out with and talk with at the events were still there, and the guys I got to hang out with again. So it was kind of cool to have the transition be pretty easy with them. And so I'm looking to try and hopefully extend our relationship going into 2019. Still a few months out from the beginning of the year, so kind of see how everything goes with that. I'm just trying to get everything lined up for next year, so that way when the season really starts, everything's kind of signed and ready to go.
Absolutely. Okay, now we can do some fan questions finally.
I'm scared because
there's nothing weird in here.
They were
these
cool
are not.
about it?
These are not the.
How many did Bert send in?
None, because we did it on the live Instagram
As a surprise.
as a surprise, and actually some people showed up to ask questions. But
Sweet.
let's see here. How'd you feel about St. Louis?
I thought St. Louis was fun. It was a little difficult to kind of figure out at first. I didn't realize like how fast that track was actually going to be until, really kind of pushing the car. But the track was actually a blast. And then like all the fans out there were cool. We had that crazy storm while we were there that kind of destroyed a bunch of stuff. But no, I had a good time out there. It was cool. The FD actually got a Midwest like event back again. So that helps bring a lot of different fans from like up in your guys' area and all that to come down and actually get to check out event.
I think they had way more people than they thought.
Yeah, they definitely weren't prepared for that. I'm hoping next year they have the pits or something sorted out a little bit better so they can have some more grandstands and everything like that for all the spectators.
Hopefully that means it comes back.
It is.
I believe, it's on the schedule. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay. They have a schedule out already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's August
Missed that.
6th or something.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's see. Favorite seat time car or favorite pass build of yours?
Ooh. Let's see on that. I don't know. I'm probably gonna roll it back to my old 886 Corolla I had. That was probably one of my favorite cars that I've had that I got to drive and have. I think I had that car for like 10 or 11 years before I ended up selling it. But it was pretty really, honestly, it was a really basic setup. It was still a 4AG car. I ended up swapping in like the supercharged bottom end from like an MR2 and putting a turbo kit on that. And I think it maybe did around 260 or so, 280 maybe. And the car was just a blast.
Do you like the SR?
I don't
question.
mind the SR. I'd say I'm probably more of a KA person.
When somebody asked that question, I told them that you made that, or somebody made that Eaton supercharger.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever put that on anything?
Yeah,
I
I just got it on a KA car down here, whatever S14 I got. I'll have to send you guys some pictures. I picked up, I posted up on Instagram like a few months back. It was like a really kind of like dirty looking like yellow S14.
Oh, yeah.
I picked up for cheap, and then I found a buddy of mine gave me a good deal on a KA swap, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to put that blower on something. I've had it sitting around long enough. I'm going to do it. And I got on that car and like rushed it together to try and make one of the events down here. And the thing just did not want to cooperate. So I'm in the process of going through it now and sorting it all out so I can actually get it running, driving, and go play around with it.
That should be pretty
Is
sick.
that like an M45 or something? Or what?
Yeah, I'm like M62 or whatever from like a Xterra is what it uses.
Oh, the big boy.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
When they like take it like bolts to a plate that bolts like the factory upper plenum, and you can like flip it upside down and throw it on there. It was a company like made a kit for it like years ago, and I don't think they're around. And I ended up getting a plate from one of my buddies up there in the Midwest, and the blower and all that. And I was like, it's been sitting around long enough. I need to do something with it. I want a supercharged car just because I miss the whiny sound that they make. So
I'm interested in this for personal reasons. I want to eat and supercharge something. That was before all the other engines exploded.
Yeah,
So
before everything else did.
Such as life.
Everything else blew up. So I'll come back to that idea at a future time. What is a dream car build of yours? Could be a street car also.
I don't know if it's like a dream car build or if just like a dream car in general.
That'd be fine.
But I've always really been into like weird stuff, like odd cars.
Yes. Do tell.
It's not a front-wheel drive Dodge. Just relax.
Damn it.
No, it's a little weirder than that. If I could like get something and, I guess personalize it, build it, and kind of play around with it, I really would love to eventually one day get one of the old Ford RS200s.
Oh,
Like one of those old, crazy, like groupie rally cars.
I need it so badly in my life.
Yep.
I'm sure that there's, those are just like 6-figure cars now, I'm sure. So,
Yeah, I think last time I got bored and looked, I think they were about the 140s or so. So that's been a bit. They're probably well over twos now, I'm sure.
The one that Ken Block exploded?
yeah, Ken Block's got one.
Yeah, he got one.
This is
Doran has one.
what did Ken Block set on fire? Rolled it.
That was the Escort, the Cosworth.
Yeah,
That's
he
right.
has an
That's
S- he has
it was
a-
the dual wing
Yeah.
Kazi.
he is
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Escort Kazi.
I couldn't remember if it was this car or some other car, but obviously it wasn't this one. These are pretty sick though.
They're so
Didn't they only
cool.
make 500 of these?
I don't even
Wasn't
know if
it
they
a
made that
homologation
many. Yeah, it's
car?
a homologation car.
Maybe it was less
Good
than
engine,
500.
all-wheel drive, 80s turbocharged nonsense. So good,
Yeah.
dude. So good.
Yeah, they even did, I think on the production ones, if you order like that Evolution 2 model, I think it was like 700 or 800 or something. It still
Yeah.
made like a 2.3 liter.
Oof, that's
In the
crazy.
80s.
Yeah, in the 80s.
I'm sure they were the pinnacle of reliability as well.
I'm sure, yeah. That's why everyone bought them for the street. That's why they're so common.
Right.
Do you want to do a couple stupid questions?
What you got?
Not number 1 drift podcast stupid, but number 2 drift podcast stupid. You know this is the number 2 drift podcast?
This is the number 2?
Yeah,
Yes.
we're number 2. We've
Why not number 1?
self-proclaimed.
There's other
'Cause
drift
they only
podcasts.
do drifting and drift is in their name.
Gotcha.
And they get invited to go to all the events. I have to ask if I can go.
Hey, you guys have an event now coming up, right?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind then.
Sorry, friend. Favorite
that
scary
once.
movie?
Let's go. I don't know. I was a big fan of all the Jason stuff. So any of the old like, 80s Jasons.
The original slashers.
Adam shaking his head.
Yeah.
You're not a scary movie person. are
I
you?
hate scary
That's
movies.
too impractical for you.
I can't do it.
Really?
Dude, I don't know why. I just can't do it.
Oh.
Like,
Like you want to leave? Like
yeah,
I'm
no, I
uncomfortable.
can't
I
watch
gotta
it.
leave.
So when the first, I know this is an extreme example, but when the first Hostel came out, I was working at a movie theater, and so I would just like go in and watch because I was, for whatever reason, I'm fascinated by the idea, but I can't do it. Right, so I would go in there and I would watch like 3 to 5 minutes and be like,
That was it?
that's all I can take tonight.
I'm good now.
And I'd walk back out again.
Jeez.
See, I'm on the other end of the spectrum where I like to like set the scene. So like if it's storming outside or like this, if I go to my parents' cabin this weekend for the New Year's, we're bringing what's it? Evil Dead. So
Perfect.
we're
The first
20 miles away from anything, in the middle of like
Perfect.
pitch black hills in a cabin watching Evil Dead is what I want to do. I don't think it's going to happen, but I want to.
Have you
the
seen that
setup there.
movie?
That's perfect.
I've not seen it. No.
We'll leave it.
Okay,
alone.
let's
I'm
leave it
not
there.
gonna go there.
Is it cabin related? Obviously, it must be.
is.
It's in a cabin, yeah.
There's a scene in there that we don't need to talk about it.
Okay, fair enough.
How do you know? Have you seen it?
No,
He's heard about it.
I just
on
know
the
these
internet.
things.
Oh, we should watch it.
No,
He's done all his research. He knows. He doesn't want to see it.
Yeah, he reads like the IMDb.
yeah, exactly.
parent
I'll read
thing
the
on it.
the Spark Notes on it, and that's good enough for me.
Do you wear a watch? I didn't. I just swear to God, I didn't ask this question.
What are you wearing right now?
I did not wear this, or I did not ask this question.
Let's go around the room. Everybody
Actually,
say what they're wearing.
The question. No, let's not do that. There was a question. Shut up, Robbie. And potentially Kevin. The question was, what watch do you wear? And then the follow-up question was, if you were a watch, what watch would you be? This is what this has turned into. It's also the number 2 watch podcast now, I think.
Yeah, I think
There's no way we're number 2.
We're
There's
the
like
number
1,000 of
1
them.
water podcast, even though we haven't done any water in a long time. Somebody asked about the water, by the way.
I
It's
know
not
they
on
did.
here.
I know they did.
Jeez.
Yeah.
No, I'm not a watch wearer, unfortunately.
my man.
I got a clock on my phone. That's just kind of where
Did
I
you
get all my
see
time
the
from.
rad 80s nonsense watch that I gave Adam last week? It was great.
I did see that. That was pretty awesome. Though.
And he is upset about it for reasons I do not understand, because if you want to talk about 80s
I
LCD watches,
legitimately
is it?
spent 5 minutes trying to figure out how to set the time correctly on it. Gave up on it, and now it's just sitting. Done with it.
Oh, you should have brought it. We could have fixed it.
I could have fixed it
I
for you. You should
forgot.
give
I
it
was
to
going
Logan, too.
I forgot about it.
My plan is to corrupt your son to being a watch
Even
person.
then, the technology was just far too advanced for you.
Yeah.
Even in 1991 or
simple
whatever,
man.
when that came out.
I'm a very simple man.
Watches, ties.
Yeah, he's a tie man now as well.
It's the new you, man.
We need to post that. Robbie made him a tie for Christmas that's Gulf colors, and then he put a Gulf logo on it. It's great.
Yes, that's rad.
It's the best. I think that was it as far as questions go.
Yep.
Do you have any parting thoughts? Would you like to slander anybody named Bert before you leave or anything like that?
I think I'll leave Bert alone this time.
Okay.
No, yeah. I just appreciate you guys having me on. If you guys are ever down this way, let me know. Try and set something up. I'd love to have you guys down here and come check out the shop and the cars and all that. And
Yeah, I definitely want to come to the shop.
That'd be amazing.
yeah. I mean, I know the weather down here is pretty rough this time of year. So if you are ever able to make it, this might be maybe the worst time. I don't know.
You said it was 50? Is that what you said?
No, today was 75.
Oh,
Oh,
okay, great.
Terrible.
Is there? Do you
I don't
know
even
if-
remember what 75 feels like.
Are there any houses for sale in your neighborhood or anything like that? Maybe
There's quite
recommend?
a few, actually. Yeah.
All right, send me some Zillow listings.
All right, there you go. I'll send it your way. Yeah.
Yep, perfect. Cool. Thanks, Kevin, as always.
Yeah. No problem, guys. I appreciate it.
I think that's it. We're going to keep chatting, so we'll hang up with you, and I will send you a message later.
Cool. Sounds good.
Peace out.
Thanks, Evan.
All right. See you guys.
Partway
Boom.
opener.
Kevin Lawrence, everybody.
It is Kevin Lawrence. Oh, my God.
Hey,
Oh my God.
It's Kevin Lawrence.
It is.
is that Kevin Lawrence?
Sure was.
He really thinks he's not famous, which I think is
I was
funny.
trying to think about it.
ridiculous.
Like, he's got to be probably top 3 most famous people we've ever talked to.
Right. And when we kept making fun of him at PRI, he's like, guys, I'm not famous. And I was like,
Dude,
you
people
don't understand.
everyone
You are
recognizes
famous. That's okay.
It's fine.
It's humble.
It
It's
is.
down to earth.
Which is good. Well,
It is good.
Well, he made a comment too. Is like he wasn't frustrated about losing to I can't think of his name.
Peter.
Peter. Yeah, he wasn't frustrated about it, which shows the maturity of that's going to be better year 2, year 3. You know what I mean?
I was super pumped.
Well, I just like, if it was me, like coming into this year, I would just think of that run. Like, I know that if I can put this together, if I can pull my head out of my ass and the car is running well, like I have a legitimate chance at being a threat.
Absolutely, and he absolutely does. So I think,
But like, it's nice to have that validation.
yeah, you could definitely tell. I'm sure on the one more time runs, he's probably in his head's like,
Oh, dude, it'd be the
man,
worst.
oh, man.
It'd be the worst.
But yeah, now that's he's got that out of the way. He's got his first year under his belt. Year 2 is going to be a huge step in the right direction, I think, and
Hopefully.
his attitude's definitely right.
Yeah.
What do you got for partway
So
opening?
before we dive into the opener, got a couple of things. First of all, Mike Farr, friendly listener, longtime listener, was nice enough to send us some T-shirts. I'm wearing the one that he sent us right now. It says Full Clip on it.
Is that a beefy tee?
And I just think it's a tee.
Doesn't look like it. It's got
just
like a
tee,
jersey material.
but it's not like
Hold on while
it's
I
not
feel
like
you.
form fitted.
no.
I'm touching Adam.
Yeah, but if you
those that
shrink,
aren't-
it'll form a little bit.
I haven't
It's,
washed one yet, so
yeah.
Adam feels
that's what we-
beefy.
But
I mean, the
got
tee
a
feels
couple.
beefy.
I got a couple of them for you guys. If you don't want them, I'll fucking take them.
I'll take 'em.
Be that way about it. It's
That's
his
the-
drift team, Full Clip. I really like the design. It looks kind
Yeah,
of
it's cool. It's simple.
I dig
yeah,
it.
Nice.
But he's coming after our number 2 drift podcast.
He's the number
position.
3 drift podcast.
He's
so
number 3.
I guess I'm going to be nice about it, and I'm going to give him a shout out because he sent us the shirts. If you're into drifting, you're into podcasting. The Tandem Podcast. I know it's on Spotify and on iTunes.
Is that his note there?
That's his note. It says Merry
I
Christmas.
thought maybe for once you were prepared.
No, gosh,
Oh.
no. Somebody else prepped my notes.
Cool.
So
What's
I
weird
also-
is that we became friends with 2 brand new drift podcasts that came out at the exact
almost
same time.
the exact same
Very
time.
weird.
But only one of them's reached out to me and sent me free stuff. So only one of them's getting shouted out on the show.
We can be bought.
Absolutely.
Very, very cheaply.
Also, just want to reiterate, we're looking for speaking engagements in 2019. Oh, sorry. What else did you have?
the
Adam?
other thing I
I
wanted
was
to
just going to
mention-
say that to Kevin too. And before we signed off, I was going to say he said he hires photographers.
I know.
I know a photographer, professional
technically a
photographer
published
Even
photographer.
a paid
that will
professional.
do it for pennies on the dollar. Pennies.
Probably will basically do it for free.
I will do it for free.
Well, you could go.
You're gonna need a longer.
Just
rest
So do you know
lens.
how that works? I'll spill a little bit of industry.
Well, we can be on the
splooge
show
on
if
this
you want.
podcast. Yeah, I don't care. So those guys, like, there's regulars.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
just show up, and then the guys hire the regulars
Oh.
because they're there.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Not that crazy.
I mean, you could. I'll fly there.
that's
And
what
I will
Larry
take-
Chen does.
I will only take pictures of Kevin's stuff. I'll be Kevin's photographer.
Well, those guys. Well, he has a photographer.
I can be that guy.
Okay.
Replace that guy. I'll do it for free.
Rude.
That guy's lame.
Rude.
I'll save
But
you
he
so
doesn't-
much money.
But he doesn't have a podcast.
He probably doesn't have a podcast. That's fair. But yeah, so like when I was talking to some of those people, like that's what they do. They just
Yeah.
bounce around. And like so they may have a magazine or whatever that writes most of their ticket to go, but then they'll like talk to maybe Travis Reeder, or they'll talk to Kevin, or they'll talk to whatever, like, hey, I can give you 5 minutes of video or whatever. Oh,
Right.
okay. It'll cost this much. And then
Like
and then you just
like freelancers almost.
yeah, they're freelancers, but you develop a relationship,
Yeah, makes
obviously
sense.
based on what you can provide. But yeah, that's how they kind of do that.
Cool.
That's how they can afford to do it too. Being a pro photographer sucks.
It's a grind.
You're
Sucks.
constantly
And you
chasing
never
after it.
know.
Never know, and you don't make
One
that
month
much money.
you might make $6,000, and the next month you might make
Nothing.
$200.
Right.
You know. So
Yeah, it's not a lifestyle that I'm looking for.
The other shout out I want to give, the other Christmas shout out I want to give, E-Man.
E-Man,
Yeah, he sent us Bark Boxes. He works for Bark Box. It's like Petrol Box, but for your dog. My dog really appreciated it. I can
Mine
tell
did.
you that.
my dog
much.
ate some of the treats already.
No treats yet, but they did destroy or not destroy, but they were all over
Working on?
the toys.
Yeah, it was really cool. I liked it.
It was
If
a nice
you have a
gift.
dog?
Yeah.
It's totally worth getting 1 or 2 or 10 or whatever it is you feel like you need to get. So, just a simple shout out because we got a free one.
We did.
I'll be transparent about it.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
No, we should be transparent about it. Allegedly, I have a package
Oh,
of
no.
clothing for Adam that's on its
no.
way.
Yay.
Oh no,
This is nice.
is it though?
Yes.
I'm looking forward to what it is. I don't think it's anything too extravagant.
No, but free gifts are always
Is
nice.
this like legitimately something I could use, or is this bullshit?
That remains to be seen.
So it's bullshit.
When it arrives, I
No.
will find out. No, I
They,
don't.
they know we have fancy dinner parties. We have to attend.
Can I even get a hint
no,
on who?
no, because I think if I tell you who it is, you'll figure it out.
Can you tell me?
Yeah, I'll tell you later.
Just whisper it in my ear right
Yeah,
now.
whisper it over his microphone.
No, I'm not
do
going
that.
to.
No, write it on a piece of paper and hand it to me.
I will. I don't have a pen. We'll talk about it later.
Forget it then.
Damn it. No, don't do that.
So
You guys are a bunch
the box
of
is coming.
dicks.
My point is, it's not here yet. I'm hoping
Yeah.
we can talk about it next week, but it doesn't show up by then. That's not a big deal.
You're a bunch of assholes.
But my point is, if you have,
Ah.
God damn it. I showed it to Robbie.
Yeah,
If you have
I'll
automotive-related
see
clothing or silly things that you perhaps would like Adam to wear at SCCA National Convention or
wait a
just in
fucking
general.
second here.
What?
I'm not.
Oh,
Don't be volunteered me
Wait a
for
second. Wait a second.
bullshit
Wait a
here.
second. If you have a belt, what's your waist size?
I don't know.
34?
32. Thank you.
What do you think?
Wait. Okay. Which
Does
number?
he need a really great one?
No, he just needs a belt.
Which number?
Okay.
Which number in the pant size is the waist? Is it the first one or the second one?
The first one's the waist.
32. Then.
Okay, so
Yeah.
he needs a 32-inch belt. If anybody has a 32-inch belt, DM me and you can mail it to me.
We're saving you so much money.
Black.
That's
I
really the
think.
only reason I'm volunteering
Actually,
this information.
It could be black or brown because he said he doesn't like his shoes. So just if you have a belt, let me know.
Get the one that
Booney
flips.
called me. He was so mad. He called me.
What I don't understand is like he can call you all he wants. He never talks to me.
Does he have your cell phone number?
He's
He's got mine.
We have conversed.
What was he going to do? Call you and be like, you're a dumbass? Like what?
Sure.
At least when he calls me, he could be like, dude, a belt? And I could be like, I know, man, I know. And then we talk about French food and architecture and some other things. It's not important. The point is, you need a belt. That's the point.
I've made almost 32 years, 31 and a half years without a belt. It's been fine.
We're changing you, man.
You think you are?
We are.
Let's go talk to my ex-girlfriends about how that worked out for them.
About getting you to wear a belt?
About
getting them
changing.
No.
They know who I am.
I'm going to go back to his ex-girlfriends. Did you try to make him wear a belt? Because it's not working out very well. Please help
There's
me.
a reason they're exes. Anyway,
Was that it for your opener?
no.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
how
that
you-
was just the
that's-
shout-outs?
That was
for
just a
fun.
shout
This is
out. I
gonna be
got
the
like an
longest
actual
show of all time.
Yeah, we can whip right through this
Okay.
if we want
Opener
to. Or we can
presented by-
skip it. I don't care. We can do
Presented
it
by
next week.
Booney and the Factor Fabrication crew.
This is the last show of 2018. So, of course, we need to talk about cars that are not following us through to 2019.
Dead cars.
Dead cars. So I got a list of 15 because
Okay.
there's way more than that, and we're not going to talk about them all. This list is predominantly cars.
Yeah,
Predominantly GM cars.
Doesn't surprise me.
GM and Ford, but
Yeah.
cars, not SUVs, not trucks, and mostly cars.
Okay.
So, hit him, Robbie. First up, the car I didn't really know they were still making, the Taurus.
I'm surprised.
Okay,
I did
so
not know they were
wait
still
a
making
minute.
I think the show has been dead for a minute.
Wait a minute. If they kill this off, how are they going to make any more Ford GT engines?
Well, there's still the truck.
Yeah, they're in the pickup.
They're in the F-150
Oh,
too.
they'll just get some pickup engines.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I got it. All right, we're good. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't
I was
think they've
just
been
curious.
making the show for a minute.
I actually liked the show. The issue with the show is that the transmission is rated for literally as much power as it makes.
Right.
And that's
Ooh.
it. So I think that's kind of setting yourself up for
Failure.
disaster, even if you don't modify it.
Friend of the show, Luke, he's got that Ford Flex, the square
Edge.
one.
Flex.
The Flex. Doesn't make any
It's
sense.
backwards,
It
that's
should be
why-
the
that's why-
Edge. Damn, that's why I had to stop and think about it.
It has
But I
edges.
think that's basically just a show if you get the EcoBoost one.
Yeah,
and
I
he
think so.
lowered it, and
Yes.
he's put like a tuner on it and stuff like that. It looks really good.
I
And I think it's
always
pretty
liked
quick.
the Flex. Yes, the
yes,
Flex.
yes.
I always
Stop and
liked
think-
it.
No,
I
I'm
drove
with
one,
you.
and I was like, I like this a lot. It's like a weird hearse
Boxy
estate
thing.
wagon thingy.
Station wagon,
And I'm like, it's great.
thing?
It has like 3 panels of sunroofs.
Yeah,
It had like a rear sunroof for the very rear thing. I don't know. It was just cool. It was
this
just kind of
seems
cool.
so unnecessary.
I don't know, but I thought it was cool. You could spend some money on them if you
Yeah.
wanted to get real wild.
But it looks,
I liked it.
I like the one he's
thought
got.
they were
It
ugly.
looks cool. I like it. Lowered a little
You don't
bit.
like
It
'em?
looks really
Nah.
good. No, does that surprise you?
No,
Though?
not even a little bit.
It's yeah.
All three of us can't like the same thing.
There's very, very few that exist where we are all like, yeah, I'm into that.
I get that.
There's more things that we don't like than do like. I don't know what that says about us as a group.
Yeah, but I liked the Taurus actually.
The show, absolutely.
I like the
It was
Fusion.
just very old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
They didn't continue to develop it, so that's not surprising that's dead.
next up, the Focus.
That surprises.
That one's a little weird.
I know they're getting rid of cars, but again, it's very surprising in general.
Yeah,
Do we know if they're killing off the Focus internationally or just in the United States.
I think,
Any
if I
idea?
remember correctly, that the story we read was that it was just killing it off here.
Yep.
Okay. Because, again, international
We were still
platform.
going to get the crossover thing that they build on the Focus platform.
Oh, right. Okay. Kind of weird. I don't really see why it would cost any money for them to continue to
Yeah, you'd think
provide that.
they'd still want to have a car.
You think you'd want like one subcompact city car,
Yeah, because
which I guess would
Fiesta.
technically be the Fiesta, but I think that might be next on this list.
Let's go to the next one.
no,
Nope.
Chevy Impala.
We're jumping into GMs. Katie's mom has one of these. She replaced her Equinox with this. She
Good.
loves it.
Well, it's definitely better than the Equinox.
Somebody else
loves it.
Somebody else that I work with has one, and it is extraordinarily nice.
You want to
Impalas have always been.
the trunk?
cars.
The trunk on that thing is cavernous.
I can
Like
see
10
it.
It's
bodies?
like the length of the car.
I can see based on where the wheel
It's
well is
so
compared
big.
to the end of the trunk.
It's
it's
huge.
about as long as the door.
You could put a bike in it. I'm just saying.
How many bodies are we talking?
Oh, like at
10s?
least 8 to 10, probably for sure.
That's good strong.
I mean, it really depends on. Are we talking like American bodies here, or are we talking?
Europeans,
Oh,
Like
well, then,
20.
like
20 or 30 Europeans.
16,
Like 6 Americans.
Yeah, yeah, probably.
So if you're a Sicilian mob boss
Yeah.
who has no style, this is an option.
or you're looking for that low key body disposal unit.
Yep.
If you're like a mid-range
Hitman?
hitman in Illinois,
Yeah,
This is an
absolutely.
option
This is
for
the
you.
perfect vehicle
Yeah, you
for
want
it.
a domestic vehicle.
and you're
for
trying
that
to
job.
you're trying to keep a
Keep
low,
a
profile. You're not trying to
you'll
spend
fit
too much
right
money.
in with elementary school traffic.
Yeah.
I never had any issues with this car.
No, because I mean, it was
It's
not
it's
super expensive.
It's
It's
just
viable.
a
It was
car.
a car.
It was a nice car, to be
It's
fair.
not. It's not the best looking thing. It's not the worst looking thing.
It's the car
just a
like
car.
someone that needs a car buys, and then when they get sick of it, they sell it to high school.
It was a car
It's
that
a great first car.
a normal auto manufacturer would have made, and you would go, yeah, that made sense. But then when GM made it, I was like, wow, they actually tried. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah, they did something.
Yeah, like,
Like
if
if-
Honda or or Toyota would have made this, I'm like, yeah, okay, that makes
It's
sense.
kinda whatever. But GM was like, wow,
Look at that.
so, yeah, somebody applied themselves. So that's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Well, let's fire everybody but that guy.
That
And
guy can
have-
stay.
He can stay.
Yeah, but it's gone.
But
now,
they're
so-
killing that car, not
See,
the
they
Camaro,
probably fired
so-
him. That's probably
Yeah,
part of the
yeah.
problem. All right.
What do we got next, Robbie?
The Cruise, Chevy Cruise.
Again,
The Cruise didn't offend me in any way.
I
either.
liked the Cruise.
Nothing
I have a
wrong- there's
friend who
nothing
has
wrong
a
with the
diesel
Cruise.
manual Cruise. It's great.
Oh, that'd be great.
It is great.
Since you can't get a Volkswagen.
Yeah.
You know, I bet if they would have
Pushed it.
pushed it, I think it
We
would have
talked
been.
about this during Dieselgate.
Yeah, I think.
GM missed out on a huge opportunity.
Yeah, they should have advertised the piss out of it then. Or if gas prices jump up and double, they're gonna wish they had this car.
Yeah.
That's the problem that's
I mean,
coming on the horizon. Is
I mean,
that
without
when
question.
gas prices go up, everybody's going to go, oh,
Yeah,
shit.
$1.95 isn't going to last forever.
No, wait, we don't have a car.
Yeah, so Chevy and Ford are gonna go like, oh, we're just gonna go with crossovers, and then gas is gonna go up eventually,
And
which it
everyone's
will.
going to end up in
Everyone's gonna
Hondas
be like,
and Toyotas.
check out my new Camry.
Check out
Yeah.
my Mazda
My
3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know.
Sucks to suck.
Literally had that conversation.
One
this morning.
company's, one of them's being run by a furniture man, and the other one's, I don't even know.
Bunch of blind people.
Dan the man is.
No, he's not doing it.
he's doing
I know,
doing
they
that
moved him. They
autonomous
moved
thing.
him over to do autonomous things.
Yeah. So, what do we got next, Robbie?
The Chevy Volt.
That
That surprises me.
How
super
more.
are they
confusing.
killing the Volt?
They're
Serious.
going to that like
Yeah, that's the direction that we're all moving,
right.
whether we like it or not.
Why are you getting?
And
rid
I've heard a ton of people say that this car is great.
and for the price.
didn't Matt Farah own one?
Matt Farah owned a first and second gen, and I think his sister now has his second gen, and he loves it.
Well, I don't know what to tell you.
'Cause they're good value, aren't they? Like their price range is really reasonable.
I think they're right there with the Prius, and that's what they are, is a Chevy Prius.
Yeah.
And it looks way better than the current Prius.
Trim and like initial quality and all that stuff, it's like miles and miles and miles and miles and miles ahead of that piece of shit fucking Prius.
Even just like outside, just looking at it.
Yeah, it doesn't scream I'm an EV.
no, it's
which is
not
nice.
It's not appalling
No.
like the Prius
it's a
is.
car.
Killing it.
What's next?
We've got
The Volkswagen
Touareg.
That's because they're
Touareg.
making the Atlas
They have
now.
the Atlas. Yeah,
It's bigger
Just the
and
three
more
row.
ridiculous.
Yeah, so
So
I still kind of surprised they're killing this.
They have a
Because I don't
Tiguan.
know.
Yeah, they have the Tiguan.
I don't know that they have a replacement for it.
So
Well,
they
I
got the Tiguan and then the what you just said
Atlas.
the Atlas. So yeah, you probably don't even need it. I mean, you don't
guess.
need to have 30 models in your lineup.
No, I'm with you on that, Robbie. I agree wholeheartedly with that, but they still think they do,
Yeah.
which is why I'm still surprised they're killing it.
We're just gonna have all the cars, and you can just take one.
Wait a second.
Oh,
So there are 2 versions of the Tiguan. This is not good. Why? Why?
what's the differences?
I'm on the website. Hold on. Who makes these decisions? Places. Who's like?
Never ends well. When we
What
go
if
to
we
their
made the same
websites.
car but 2 times and made them different sizes?
Wait, is there 2
no.
Tiguans?
There's 2 Tiguans right now.
Tiguan S and
I'm
Tiguan
hoping-
XL.
It's the Tiguan Limited and the Tiguan.
Okay. Does that
The Tiguan
say there,
Limited
Robbie?
is
Does it say
smaller.
if it's Tiguan or Limited
This
or
is a
It's a
XL?
Tuareg.
This is Tuareg. It's a different car.
Tuareg?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know they still made the Tuareg. Yeah, for sure gets killed because of the Atlas.
Yeah.
Because the Tuareg.
Yeah,
Tuareg
you were
is
thinking
the
Tiguan.
big one.
Yeah.
Tuareg is the. I didn't know they still made the Tuareg.
So instead
I
of-
thought
I
you
didn't
could get the
recognize
V10
Instead of
DDI
making the Tuareg, they're making 2 Tiguans
and an Atlas.
and an Atlas. I'm hoping that sometimes they'll carry like a previous model year on the
Just for
website.
a year or two.
I'm hoping that this is like a transitional thing.
Yeah, could be.
But one is definitely a compact SUV and one is definitely a midsize SUV.
There you go. Next, Robbie.
Fucking ridiculous.
Volkswagen Beetle.
They claim they're done with it.
Haven't they been
Not
saying
it.
that for like 8 years?
And they bring it back.
Yeah. But
It'll-
they claim they're dunsies. That this is it. They're no
maybe,
more.
maybe that's what they need to do is kill it for a while. Then be like, oh man, it was such a great car. But then they'll bring it back.
I think
like
that
they
it
did
had
before.
some buzz with it when they brought the new Beetle in.
Yeah.
So
it does show
I think that the current Beetle looks better than the last Beetle, the new Beetle, the first new Beetle.
wow, you can get a Beetle for 20 grand.
Really? You get them in diesel, can't you?
That's too much money.
No, not anymore.
Not anymore.
We don't talk
Oh,
about
that's
that.
right.
We don't,
They used
talk
to.
about that.
They used to.
You're talking about that,
It
Robbie?
was a great engine.
We
but
could
it
sell you an
couldn't-
e-golf.
It's probably on this list too, though.
Yeah, probably.
What's next, Robbie?
The Hyundai Azera. Ezra.
Zura.
Hyundai Ezra.
Hindu eye.
Hey, Hyundai Ezra.
Okay.
We knew that they were killing this anyway. It's
That car looks old.
it's kind of right up there
It's a
with
little
their
dated.
Genesis cars. Isn't it? It's like the larger mid-sized car. It's supposed to be their more luxurious thing. I
Yeah, it probably didn't
I
make
didn't
sense for it
realize they were
to
still
go
making
on
it.
this long.
My aunt and uncle have one. They loved it. So
There you go.
Hyundai.
Makes sense. Goodbye.
The Honda CRZ.
Damn it.
they
This
even
could have
know
been
that?
cool.
I didn't
They even
know.
make that car?
I didn't know they still made this either.
I remember the concept.
Oh, they made it.
I never actually saw one.
It's a hybrid. People love K-swapping them when the hybrid systems fail.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
It could be a fun little.
it's a hybrid you could get with a manual.
That's
I
perfect.
think it's might be the only hybrid you could get with a manual, which I was all about. It was supposed to be like a resurgence of the CRX,
yeah, but
which
not
I
as
could
good.
see. No, it didn't quite work out as well as they wanted
It
it
was
to.
like a half attempt. And
But I feel
well,
like that car was a car that could have been cool if people gave it a chance.
yeah, maybe or not.
I've seen them autocross; they seem to do all right. So
What they should have done is made it even smaller, like an IQ.
yes,
Just push it together a
Yes.
little more.
I wonder if they had some
Yes.
leftover
Because the back end kind of looks like an IQ, sort of.
some leftover insight.
leftover
Stuff.
inventory because I think they officially killed this in 2016.
Oh, man.
okay, that might be.
So
That would explain why.
I doubt it was a hot seller.
No,
I did not research this list. This could be total bullshit.
Who made this list?
USA Today.
USA Today?
Oh man.
Because I tried finding one on Car and Driver, and they haven't made one yet.
Oh man.
Oh, late to the game. All
Yeah.
right. It's in-
Yeah.
it's like the end of the year.
Yeah.
Come
So,
on, Car.
We still don't have our 8 or 7 whatever cars that we're
Excited
probably
about.
That's
going to
for
get.
next week.
Ah,
Oh, do you have it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're good.
perfect.
Yeah. Don't you worry. What is that?
The C-Max.
The C-Max Hybrid.
Oh, I thought
Damn it! I just put money down on this.
I thought that was the one they were I thought that was the Focus thing they were keeping.
Not the hybrid though. I didn't know that they made this.
It's terrible.
It's weird.
It is quite the worst looking
never
thing
seen-
I've
There's
ever seen.
so many grills on the front of that
It
car.
looks like
Is that a grill or
It's got
on the
it's
top there?
No, it's got a windscreen.
Oh, is that what that
on
is?
the hood, and then it's also got a grill, and then it's got
Wait
a
a
bumper,
second.
and then another grill.
How many grills is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that 5 grills?
Bear grills. You got
One.
That's
the
a
hood-
windscreen.
That's a windscreen on top.
I see
and
that.
then,
And
a,
then-
bumper,
and then
and
a-
then a grill with the badge.
Yeah, then you got the grill in the middle, and then you got the mouth, and then you got the bottom grill.
and a grill,
So
and
you
then
got
2
three
side
grills,
grills,
and then so
Oh,
5.
those are brake ducts. That's different. Except they're probably not.
brake grills.
Yeah, so you got 3 front grills.
Yo,
two-
Doc.
two-
Heard you like grills.
Yeah, it's fine. Probably not.
That's terrible. What's next?
It's the Toyota Prius V.
Oh man, I'm so disappointed.
Yeah, that's the. No, the Prius.
That's
C's
the weird
Prius
that
long
is
Line.
one.
so ugly.
That's the long
That's
one.
the long one.
That's terrible.
It's not as bad as the regular Prius.
Nah.
Yes, it is. They're equally bad.
The Prius C is still cool. I don't care what anybody says.
Okay. Episode 149. He said it. Okay.
I've said it
2
before. I
years
like
from now,
the Prius
I know, but it
C.
was just
It's gonna come
mental-
back up.
Mental
It's
note.
gonna come
mental
up.
note. People listening,
I think it would make
Listen-
a really funny autocross.
listen
car.
for 1 second. When Adam buys one in 2020, when Adam buys one, 149. Just remember that 149, 149. So we can put this discussion to bed because somewhere he said he would never, ever,
didn't.
ever be caught dead with a minivan, and he
never
hasn't.
said
We
it.
can't find it.
It's 'cause
been
it
a
didn't
team.
fucking
There's
happen.
been a team put together, assembled to find the episode, and nobody can find it.
I know he said it.
I
but
typed
he-
it, Robbie.
He
You can't
typed it on
prove that was
Instagram.
me.
I know he typed it on Instagram, but I also know he said it.
I never said it.
Because after you looked at the Team Clearcoat one, we talked about it.
Nah,
And you talked about it or messaged on
happened.
Instagram. I have a picture of the Instagram.
I never said it.
Wow.
Okay.
Lies.
The first person that can find it, I'll send you one of the 3D printed keychains that we still have for some reason. You send me a DM and you can give me a minute marker and the episode number from when he said it. I will send you the keychain. Bounty on.
I'm verifying it before
And-
we send anything. 'Cause I don't think
and-
it ever happened.
And that SCCA
You
sticker
get some
pack.
SCCA stickers.
And if I have other crap around the house to
we can send you
I
a
will-
full. We can send you a full clip T-shirt because Mike sent us 6 of them.
Oh, okay. We'll
Oh,
send you
yeah.
a full. And I'll send you a Kanga. Here we go.
yeah.
Kanga Motorsports T-shirts. I will send you one of these also. That's 2 T-shirts and some other stuff.
And some stickers and a
For
keychain.
someone that can send me the minute marker and the episode number for when Adam said he'd never be caught dead with a minivan or something to that
I
effect.
didn't say it.
Is that a juke?
Yeah.
Good.
Oh,
Yes.
I like the juke.
I feel like the list we did last year said they were killing the juke too.
Yeah, I think they say it every year. They're like, there's no way they're going to keep making this car.
My question is Nissan actually going to... Ooh, you go to Nissan.com. I forgot about that. That's not the website.
That's right. Someone else
It's
owns it.
Nissan Motors lawsuit something.
Yeah, it's Nissan USA or something you got to go to.
Nissan
Motor, Nissan USA.
My question is, when is Nissan going to make a new car?
Never.
It's the
Just-
most-
Just keep facelifting everything.
Here's a prediction for you. Nissan's going to become Mitsubishi.
I hope
They
not.
bought Mitsubishi.
Well, whoever was running the marketing for Mitsubishi is now running the marketing for Nissan, and that's not the right move.
Someone needs to make drastic changes to like all their models. Just fresh
I
starts.
wonder if
New
Renault is
models.
struggling as badly as Nissan.
They're French. Do they care?
I don't know. Don't they get like help?
From the government?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that there's any like functioning business in France, to be completely honest.
Somebody's got to be functioning. Where's all the money come from?
Doing French communist shit. I don't
Is
know.
inflation just out of control there?
No, they
Is
just
it rampant?
they just don't do anything. We're gonna find that one French listener. He's gonna find
Well,
me.
actually,
Actually, sir,
He's gonna get his finger.
we're
out.
socialists, not communists.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Next,
you can get a
Let's
Nissan
move on
Kicks.
before this gets worse.
Cadillac CT6.
Good riddance.
No, we like.
It's
this.
over, man. It's over. GM's over. Just forget it. It's not a thing
I
anymore.
don't want to give it up though, Michael. It's been
over.
It's been a part of my life.
You got to buy a fancy Lincoln now.
My parents were on that boat like 10 years ago.
That's what you got to do is buy a fancy Lincoln. I'm in for the fancy Lincoln. You know what sucks? Lincoln will never be Cadillac V, but they're killing off Cadillac V. So
Just gonna have to buy an M car
what do you do?
or an AMG.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to buy an AMG and deal with that.
Poor you.
Genesis needs an N division car.
They do.
and then you'd be
It's coming.
happy.
You could get a
to be,
Genesis
right?
Sport.
And they need an N division. No.
It's coming.
Oh,
Needs to be a little boy racery. Needs to be a little ridiculous.
It's coming.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it is.
Motor Trend said the Veloster N was one of their favorite cars of the year.
It's true.
Really?
They did.
Every time they post that, people laugh at it hilariously, and I just can't wait until Genesis and all those guys are beating up on all their BMWs and shit, and then they won't be laughing about
Before I could find this article, we about did that article because that was the only one I could find. It was good stuff out of 2019.
Yeah.
So
it. Randy Popes likes it, which means your opinion is invalid unless it's the same as his.
that's probably fair.
Yeah.
The
CTS,
CT6 and the XTX?
great. Don't
Wait,
care.
There's an XT.
ATS?
ATS,
That's
great.
an ATS.
I don't know.
Don't care.
That's a good looking car.
Yeah, well,
It's
you can't get it anymore.
It's just a Cadillac.
You know what your options are in Cadillac? Escalade.
Yep.
Do they still make that SRX crossover thing?
Yeah, they're gonna. Part of this plan of killing everything is refreshing that.
Gotcha.
Oh, great.
And that's it.
So 15 cars, most of them cars. All of them cars?
No, that
the
Ford.
the Touareg
Oh yeah,
And the Juke.
and the Juke.
The Juke.
Holy shit! Cadillac makes 3 SUVs.
What?
No,
The Escalade?
they make a XT4, XT5 Escalade, bigger Escalade.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to have your small body and your big body Escalades.
So, yeah.
We live in a wild world.
You told me 10 years ago that Lincoln would be cooler than Cadillac. I would have told you that you are
Get
a
out.
crazy person.
Yep. Just
You are literally the craziest human being that's ever
Yeah,
lived.
because they were killing it 10 years ago.
They were. Like 2004?
GM was killing it 10 years ago.
Yeah, and then Lincoln was the worst. They're like, this is terrible. There's nothing.
2004 was not 10 years ago.
I know, but 2004 was
just
the
an
beginning of the
FYI.
CTS.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that one.
It's the beginning of an era.
Yeah, that's fair. So, who knew? I don't know, man. It's a real depressing state, frankly.
I'm
Which
waiting.
really just fits in with all the other
yeah.
I'm waiting for the day when the Charger goes away.
It kind of needs to. They need to.
Or they need to do something dramatically different with it.
very
Yeah, they
old.
need to build a new one.
It's very old. They
It
won't,
was
though.
old when they built it.
They won't. They won't make a new one because everybody else is killing off their cars.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, someone's got to stick to it and make a car.
AMG.
Yeah.
Thank God for the Germans.
BMW. Who saw that coming?
At least they're not the French.
I don't know. They
Start-
might make good cars.
start
We
an
don't know.
The
international
French?
Yeah, we don't know.
Wait
There's
a second. If
some
I had
Citroens
some
that would
French
be fun.
experience, I've been to Europe.
There's some Citroens that would be fun. They make
The
like
French,
some really hardcore hot hatch cars.
the
that
French
would be
can make
cool.
some good cars, but equally the French can make some really terrible cars.
But sometimes they're good in their terribleness. But they have to be old before they get to that level. Like the 2CV.
The 2CV is
Or
an
even
abomination.
the DS.
The DS is glorious.
But I think it's like objectively a terrible car.
The DS?
Yeah.
Yeah, as a car, I think it's terrible.
But it's super rad.
yeah. The French should just make luxury cars.
Robbie doesn't know what a Citroen DS is.
I guess the French make some good hatchbacks.
Yeah, some of the newer Citroen hatchbacks are sweet.
The DS Racing, I think.
Jeremy Clarkson loves them. Robbie's got no.
That's the DS.
That's the new one. We were talking about the old one.
Oh, you can't. No, we're talking about
He's
relevant
never
cars.
never gonna find it. Don't
Yeah.
even bother.
It's right here.
What's that guy's name that had one? We had him on the show. Alex
Alex
Roy.
Roy.
Alex Roy had one
yeah.
for a while.
No.
Anyway,
Shall we move on?
all I got.
Factorfabrication.com.
buy to
picture
all
table.
of those cars.
Rad tables.
Rad tables, rad porch railings,
Rad skate rails.
interiors,
Skate rails, if you will.
exteriors, staircases,
Metal fabrication. Wood fabrication, I suppose. It's not really fabrication, is it? What do you
Custom
call it?
watch holders.
Woodworking.
Yeah.
Custom watch holders.
custom skate rails.
Custom skate rails. Think you could build a half pipe?
Oh yeah, in a
Are you
sleep.
kidding me?
He might get super pumped if he
I've
asks him to
built
build
a half pipe. It's not that.
Yeah, I've built one too.
A good half pipe?
Yeah, in my driveway,
I never skated it, Robbie.
bro.
We weren't friends.
That's because you never come to my house, even when we are friends.
It's because you never invite anybody anywhere.
I was grounded for an entire summer. I invited everybody over there.
All I wanted to do was go skate parks.
Yeah.
I don't want to skate that.
Yeah, you didn't want to skate my house where we could be friends.
I feel like you're the one that's putting out the non-friend energy. Just
That's
to
not
be
true.
clear.
I invite people to my house all the time, and no one shows up.
I think you say that you invite people to your house, but you don't.
I mean, in his defense, after we went and ate,
Yeah, nobody. He invited like 10
he
people.
invited
over.
everybody.
Nobody
and
showed up.
Nobody
was like, I got this other thing.
like,
So,
yeah, no, I'm busy and stuff.
Yeah, we can all go to my house. We can watch UFC. No, I have my other...
See, the problem is
Probably went
you-
home and cried by himself.
Yeah, I watched UFC by myself
That's
that
the
night.
problem is that he invited people over and then nobody showed up.
No,
Now
I
his
don't-
feelings are hurt.
No, I don't invite anybody
So now he's
anymore.
never going to invite anybody.
Would you?
No.
Well, you got to keep trying. You got to keep putting
You
yourself
don't
out
have
there.
to. You don't have to. You
do it like once
you
a
try
year
it
and
once,
then-
then you quit. Hard. Cold turkey.
That's the best way to approach life is try something once. When that fails, just
Move
become a
on.
shut-in, become bitter at the world, and just fuck everybody.
Didn't you literally just have a conversation with me about how you want to run away to the hills and like never be around humans again?
Yeah, but that's just to get away from the internet humans, not the real humans.
No, they're the same humans.
Those humans are real though.
Yeah, there's a human typing on that keyboard.
Yeah, but that's like a subhumanoid
No,
strain.
they're
of
out there,
person.
man.
No. I'm not saying that they don't exist. I'm just
They
saying
just
like,
gotta hide behind their
Keyboards.
mobile unit,
Yeah, fair
their
enough.
mobile device.
Fair enough.
let's do some news.
So, what do we got first?
Corvette prices are going up, despite sales being down.
Damn it, GM.
I mean, it's less than the cost of inflation. I mean, it's like $200. Who cares?
I thought it was 25.
It's like $400.
It was $2,500 for the ZR1 convertible,
Oh, okay.
which is like
The most expensive version of their
it's
car.
like the highest increase was less than 2%. I think.
Yeah, so it's $2,000 for the ZR1, $1,400 for the Z06, $400 for the regular one.
But shouldn't it get cheaper to manufacture as it goes?
Your raw material prices go up.
Yeah, especially with the tariffs this year.
Yeah,
Well,
not to
yeah,
get political, but
That's the problem.
steel and just general prices.
Metals.
It doesn't matter what it is because everybody saw their opportunity to raise all of their raw material prices when steel went up.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the fact that they're not higher is actually
Kind of surprising.
surprising.
Also, I have a theory.
Go on.
There's something called if I'm pronouncing this correctly, it was a dude that came up with this, a Veblen good,
Yep.
which everybody I think at some level understands supply and demand
Yeah.
curve, right?
Yep.
So prices go down, there's more demand, et cetera, et cetera. This is one of those theories that as prices go up, the demand goes up.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if
It's a luxury item.
right, they're trying to
make it more exclusive. But
they're trying to make it more
If
exclusive
you spend more, it's a better car.
and more desirable by raising the price.
That
It's a real thing.
I don't think that'll work for the Corvette market.
I don't.
I don't think it matters.
No, at this point, $400, $2,500. What difference does it make? 100 when you're spending 120.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it makes zero difference.
I also don't know why anybody's surprised that the sales are starting to fall off on the car.
It hasn't
5
changed
years
since,
old now?
Yeah, say it's
That's
2014.
that's what it does.
The model.
We also
Let's get to
know
the
that
end.
there's another one coming, so of course people aren't going to be buying this one.
Adam, you completely fail to realize that Jalopnik needs to write 14,000 stories a day. And
You're right. You're right.
You know,
Yeah, it's kind of a non-story.
and
It's just
I'm not going to say this guy's name because I'm trying to be like more professional. Fuck that, but you know, whatever, it's fine. This is the guy that writes about car values and like used car prices and buying and stuff like that. I feel like he used to be a little bit more above the board, and he's not as much anymore. I don't know. The whole website's turning into just a giant swirling shithole, in my opinion.
yeah. I won't disagree with that.
That wasn't very professional at all, was
No.
it?
I
I
It
think it's the internet.
I think it is, and I think the unfortunate thing is that they get compensated for writing more sensational, more ridiculous stories, even if people are mad about it.
Actually, they'd probably prefer it because that's when if you say something totally outlandish, people are going to share it. Like, can you fucking believe what this guy just said?
Yeah.
And then that gets more traffic, and then people are mad. Then that gets more traffic, and then people are commenting, and that means more money, more ads, all that shit.
The internet or the world is driven by internet trolls at this point
Yes.
entirely.
Yes, if you go on the let's just say this podcast, we keep it pretty level. These are legitimately our opinions. Like I share openly on how I feel about things.
Yep.
I mean, I don't really have an extreme feeling on one way or the other on a lot of stuff. It's just like, this is how I feel.
I have a
about
lot
it.
of extreme feelings, but continue.
Right. But at the same time, I'm not saying stuff that's so extreme that I know it's going to get under people's skin or that I don't actually believe it.
No, you don't say things that are not your actual opinion
Right.
in order to sensationalize something.
Correct.
Yeah.
Those are the proper words I was trying to use, and he used them. Thank you.
You're not a sensationalist
He's more
journalist.
articulate than we have proven to be.
I can
But-
write things sometimes.
He's our wordsmith.
But
talking no good here.
we make a lot less money than Jalopnik does.
Great. Yeah, exactly.
Do we?
Don't we?
I think these guys get paid. I don't know.
It's their full time
Guess
job.
I don't know that.
I don't think they make.
I don't know if anybody's working there full time anymore. If they just got
I would be willing to bet that.
like 2 people work there. I don't know.
Well,
I
I'll
don't
be
know.
I'll be willing to bet that we probably make as much or more than any of those journalists independently in our day jobs.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure. 100%. You don't make shit writing car articles. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Like,
You
it
don't make
sucks,
shit,
man.
You don't make shit writing anything anymore.
I know. It's the same
too
thing with
easy.
pictures.
It's too easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
There's always
I think it's
somebody
bad.
else who will do it for free.
yeah, I know. We've done it for free a lot.
Yeah, look at us.
I've taken a lot of pictures for free.
Yep.
It sucks.
So-
I fully admit that it sucks. Like if being a photographer was a real career anymore, I would consider it, but it's not. There is a 0% chance that you will make any money.
Well, it's not a 0% chance.
It's a near zero.
Yeah, it's near
It's
zero.
like going. And
It's like winning
It's
a
like
lottery.
one of us being a professional athlete.
yeah.
It's probably
People
the same.
do it,
There,
but statistically, you're not going to do it.
The upside's not that
Larry
high.
Chen exists.
Yes.
but
There's only one.
yeah,
That's very true. There's only one Larry Chen.
But yeah, so I think the Corvette price changes are a moot point. That shit costs more to make this year. They're gonna get. It's kind of towards the end of the year of this one, and let's just say that the rear engine or
Mid-engine.
mid-engine comes out.
it's not a Porsche, Robbie.
I don't know the rules. And then they're going to be like, well, this is the last true Corvette. And then they could raise the prices even more. And then people would buy it that way.
Yeah,
I think they're still going to make. We'll see. I
Yeah.
wonder if they're
I
still going
think
to make
this
the
is
front
the
engine
end of.
vet.
I think this is the end
C7
of
will be the last
I
one.
think this
think
is
so?
the end of the front
Unless
engine vet.
the C8 will be.
It really depends on the sales numbers of the C8. I
Yeah.
think if the C8 sells
Wow.
well, that'll be the end. The C7 will be the end of the front engine Corvette. If the C7 does not have strong sales numbers, they'll keep making both of them, or they might drop
Go
the
back.
mid-engine thing and go back to just being a front engine car.
I had a theory many years ago that Corvette should just be a brand,
It basically is.
and it should be a 3-model brand.
Yep.
So you have a mid-engine car, costs a whole bunch of money.
Oh, yeah.
You have this car,
Yeah.
front engine, rear-wheel drive V8. It's your bread and butter Corvette, and then you took the Solstice or the Sky. 'Cause
Yeah,
let's
Sky.
start with something a little bit better.
Hey,
And have that be kind of like your entry-level Corvette
Absolutely.
with the four-banger.
with a
Yeah.
turbo 4 or
Yeah, your
whatever.
little autocross
Yeah,
car.
but still keep the whole brand kind of in a premium space. You know,
Yeah. That makes sense. It's kind of like what they're doing with the Genesis.
that's just
it.
be a performance brand.
SRT tried to be a performance brand with the Viper, and it didn't work out very well. But they didn't have anything but the Viper. I think that your business model makes more sense.
I don't know that we know why the Viper didn't work.
I don't know that
I
anybody knows why the Viper
It doesn't
didn't
make
work.
sense.
Because the Viper, I think, should have sold almost equivalently as well as the Vet
It
does.
should have, yeah.
Well, it costs
didn't.
a lot more though. You can buy what was the base model
On the
for
higher end of
Corvette?
the spectrum, they weren't that far apart, though.
They dropped it
on the high end, sure.
They dropped a ton of.
But they
money
really-
out
they
of it.
really-
But when
really
you're
have
talking
a-
about selling Corvettes, your base model price is $55,000.
so cheap.
Yeah.
There's not a better market. There's not a better value in that market today. Period.
Agreed.
That
That is
issue.
the best car for that kind of money.
And going back to that article from Car and Driver, they said they like the ZR1 better than the 488 Pista.
Damn. Which I guess I'm not surprised.
I'm surprised.
I am a little bit.
That's a huge price difference. It's like
half.
Three
Well,
times.
are they taking that into consideration too?
I think they're taking yes, because they said if the price was the same, that's not fair because the fit and finish on the Corvette's not as good as
Right.
the Ferrari. But
Of
the
course.
Corvette is a way better value than the
Car.
Ferrari.
I would buy 2 Corvettes over one 488 is what they're saying.
yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that.
I would not do that.
I would.
I don't think I would do that.
Think of all the opportunities.
I wouldn't buy 2 Corvettes. I might buy a Vet and a Viper or something like that.
I would buy a McLaren.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, fair enough.
That's what I would do.
I was surprised at the percentage of automatics for the Corvettes.
I'm not.
Just it's like I knew it would be high. I didn't think it'd be that high.
not
Like,
at all
was like
surprised by
80%.
80%.
That's crazy.
I'm surprised it's 20% manuals, to be completely honest with you.
This should be like 50-50.
Nah. Automatics are good now, Robbie.
No, not good.
That's
Bad.
the problem, though. They
Automatic
are
bad.
They are
They act
good.
like they're better than dual clutches. They're faster.
That's the
There's
problem.
less shit
is that,
going on.
like, whether you just want a simple Sunday cruiser or you want a track weapon, the automatic is probably the better choice.
Probably.
I still have
The
the
only
theory
people-
about taking the 6-speed or the 4-speed GM transmission and putting the controller on it and building paddle shifters for it, and I still think that would be faster.
The 4L80 or something
The
like
4L80 or the 6L80 or the
Yep.
whatever, I still think that would be a better track day package than a T56. And it would be ungodly cheaper.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
To rebuild and stuff like the initial cost is probably about the same. But if you ever have problems, it's going to be way cheaper.
I don't know. T56s cost $1 million. Just
They're worth-
just
they're-
under.
they're
Just
worth-
under.
that expensive.
They're worth their weight in like silver at least.
Yeah.
right? Maybe not gold.
I
but
think you
silver.
got-
I don't know what a new one costs.
Oh, a new one. Yeah.
3,500.
Way more than that.
No way.
Yes.
No way.
Maybe not way more, but 40,
A
4,500.
60 probably.
What's a
Yeah,
60,
I don't know.
cost?
Yeah.
I'll bet it's way too much money.
I was gonna say
I
you
think
get a
we've looked at
rebuilt
this
one for
once
like
before.
2.
That depends
I
on
guess you're
what
right.
T56 you want.
$4,000.
I knew what I'm
It's
talking
like,
about.
that's a lot of money, Robbie. That's a crazy amount of money for a fucking transmission.
I understand, but it's good.
Is it though? You had to rebuild yours.
It's not that good.
It's good.
My dad blew his 5-speed Tremec up in his
true.
formula.
Yeah,
It's been rebuilt twice, I think.
that's because they're so abused.
My dad was not abusive to it.
Oh, fine.
What my dad did to that transmission, it should easily have
Handle.
been able to handle, and
Well,
it
same
did.
with mine.
Well, here's
We
the
have
reason.
no
I don't
idea.
know what
We
happened
have no
before
idea.
mine, but
Oh, wait. No, it's a Ford transmission. That's worthless.
Michael just owns a freak.
yeah,
He didn't pay anything for it. So far, it's been
great.
great.
yeah.
Oh, wait. No. 5,200.
Ooh,
This might be a brand new one.
it's awfully expensive for just gears. It's not a lot to that transmission.
What's a 60/60?
That is a 60/60.
Is how much?
5250.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
When you could get a 6L80E, which is like impossible to break, for $4 or $5. I don't know. You go pulling out of a junk. They don't cost
Yeah, like
anything.
$11.
Do you even
$11.
buy those? Do people pay you? To
I think they
take
pick
them
you to
away
say, like,
from
please, I've got like 6 or 7 of these. Just get it out of my house. Get it out of my life.
And
There are
don't
dime
get
a
me
dozen.
wrong, Robbie. I still prefer the manual transmission experience.
Agreed.
But whether you're just buying a car to drive around or buying a car to track day, chances are the better option is the automatic or dual clutch transmission, regardless of what car you're buying.
Yeah,
most
probably.
of the time.
Oh, good. The transmission controllers have gotten cheaper too, so it's not making my. They're between $350 and $600. something like that.
so
That's crazy.
cheap.
Crazy.
All right, shall we move on to the
Yeah.
next one here? Let's see here.
I remember a time attack driver, I don't remember exactly which one it was, said that on their data going from a regular H pattern to the sequential they have in their car
yeah.
now, half a second every time you shift, up or down.
Holy
That's a year.
crap. That's a lifetime.
When you're doing time attack and you're looking for tenths and unlimited cars, you're getting half a second every time you shift? Yeah.
You should get a 4.8 LS with a 4L60E and a controller and put it in the Fiat and build time attack car. I don't care what class it's in. I'm not
Love it.
interested in any of
It's
that.
not important.
Well, actually, it might not end up in unlimited. It might be. You might be able to slot that
Track
into track mod.
We can be track my buddies.
Too bad they didn't make a V6 Fiat
Or an inline six even.
or an inline 6 Fiat.
Put an LFX in it.
You know what? I wonder if those have come down. They were many dollars for not
I don't think
great
they're that
reasons.
bad because Joe with the Miata was going to buy one.
I think it's a great engine. It's
I
just
know that
many
he's very
dollars.
budget-minded.
That's the V6, the new V6 GM
The
platform.
Camaro V6.
Yep.
Yeah.
A nice lady drives her Elantra to 1 million miles in 5 years.
5 years.
That's insane.
I did the math on it.
They did. They showed the math.
Like, she has to average, if she was doing like a 5-day-a-week deal,
Yep.
she has to average at 60 miles an hour for 8 hours a day. That's averaging 60 miles an hour, which I think is, you guys have
Impossible.
experienced
Yep.
doing the rally. Very, very hard to do.
Yep.
8 hours a day, 5 days a week, every single week for 5 straight years to get that kind of mileage out of that car.
Yeah,
That's insanity.
If you drive every day, it's 548 miles, or it's 548 miles a day.
I think that's
Literally
7
every
days
day.
a week.
Yeah, 7 days a week. She said she drives 24/7, delivering stuff. 1 million miles
On the original
I don't-
powertrain, too.
I don't know how she does it.
She does oil changes every 2 weeks.
Yeah, but how does she
just
find
have to
time
have
to
it-
do oil? Does she have? Can you do an oil change on the road? Because
No, you just have a standing oil change.
that's just,
go to a lube
well,
oil.
yeah, but that's killing her mileage that day because she had to stop.
Well, you got to take one
You
day
got to
off.
maintain it.
It's insane, dude. The amount of time she had to spend in that car, just mind boggling.
Yeah, she lives in that car.
Yeah,
She doesn't get a hotel. She just drives through. She might sleep at a rest stop.
she's a DOT's worst nightmare.
Yeah,
She doesn't have that CDL, though, so I
Dude,
guess
if she
what
was
do
in
you
if
do?
she was in a semi truck, she wouldn't have a license.
absolutely.
Maniac.
It's true though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is.
it's true. You can't do that in a truck. Farrah
And rightfully
Haynes
so.
is this lady's name.
And rightfully so.
But she got gifted a 19 for having, and she got like a special little emblem for her dash.
Why does it look
Yeah.
so much more ugly than the 13?
Not that the 13 is a strikingly good looking car.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that 19 is very weird.
It's kind of tall.
It's
Like the hood's
not
tall.
good.
For the price, it's fine.
It was free.
I'm curious how many deer she hit before she put that cattle catcher.
I think it's hilarious that she's got a cattle catcher on the front of her.
She's
Elantra.
clearly driving at night a lot.
I'm sure.
Where does she live? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
I don't remember when I read it originally.
It was somewhere Midwesty, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she doesn't have time to stop.
Well, now you can't stop driving that one. You have to keep driving it.
You go
I think
until it
they're
dies.
taking it away from her.
Are they putting
No, they're not taking it
They're
away
just
from her.
giving her the other one. They're not
They
taking
gave
it?
her they gave her that fancy little emblem and a special cluster that has the 1 million mark, and then it's still ticking up. Because
They want her to keep driving.
It
Oh,
rolls
really?
over.
I figured they'd take it from her and
No, I think
PR to her.
I think the thing now is that
See how far it can go?
Well, see how far it can go, and if anybody else hits 1 million miles, they're going to do the same thing for them.
Yeah.
What I think is funny is like, well, Matt Farah, you're not so cool anymore with your like 90s or whatever it is.
Your 25-year-old Lexus
Yeah.
or whatever it is. And the really funny thing is, like,
You're too
Lexus
slow, buddy.
engineers are driving in,
Yeah.
they're taking data and
Yeah.
research and all this stuff, and Honda's like, yeah, no, we got it's right there. It's right there. It's right.
5 years
That's the
old. What took you so long?
one. What have you guys been doing?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a testament to maintenance in my eyes, because like if all she's doing is like routine stuff, oil changes, I'm assuming she changes the other fluids throughout, just staying.
It's got to be better because you're changing the oil every 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
But she has to for 3,000 miles.
No, but my point is that oil you don't heat cycle that oil all the frickin' time
Yeah.
and then
Well,
not
it's-
change it.
It's constantly
Over 6 months.
It's constant. She's got to
It'll break down after.
She's got to be predominantly highway miles, which they claim is better.
Yeah, she's sitting with her cruise control set most of the day. Stops for gas, goes again.
I wonder if she listens to the 1010s podcast.
That would be a
She's
great
got
way to spend
plenty
time.
of time to do it.
Should email her like, what do you do in the car?
Yeah, what does she listen to? She has to have satellite
That's a
radio.
market we should figure out how to
Tap into.
advertise to. Truckers.
Yeah.
People with million-mile Elantras.
Yeah. I just
I could
noticed.
probably-
I just noticed she had 4 of those deer whistles on the hood of her car too.
Which don't work.
Well,
She was probably desperate at that point.
she's probably just sick of hitting deer. Yeah, I'm curious how.
I wonder what her driving record looks like.
Yeah, I want to know how many
Like
deer
just
she's hit to get to this
statistically,
point.
she's had to have had some.
Yeah,
She's had to have had some tickets.
nobody
some
puts a
traffic
cattle catcher on
violations.
their Hyundai, or those many deer whistles without hitting a handful of deer.
Right, but I want to know what her traffic record looks like.
Like tickets and whatnot.
Like how often does she get pulled over?
She's probably
I don't know, if
very
it's- if
much
it's
a
her-
Christian motorist.
I would say if it's her job, I'll bet she's pretty true to it.
I don't know, man.
I don't see a radar detector.
That is not
jammer.
Alex Roy that we're looking
Yeah,
at.
she's
That
not-
is
she's
a
not
nice,
Cannonball.
She's got places
nice lady.
to be though.
Yeah,
She's got a lot of miles to crush today.
But she's getting paid to be there at
Yeah, and if she
got some
gets
mileage
a
to crush,
ticket where
bro.
it screws up her time frame, or she gets enough tickets where she loses her license, she doesn't have
loses
any
her
income
job
anymore.
Yeah.
What is she delivering in an Elantra?
They said car parts.
Special, I think it was like specialty orders.
I think it's like high-end overnight stuff that you need yesterday.
I need this thing now.
I need
Drive
you to drive.
What a
I need you to
weird
drive to New
job.
York today.
What a weird job.
I bet it's expensive, but you get your stuff tomorrow.
Then they've got Volvo with all their P1800s that are 60 years old and do 1 million miles. Like nerds,
not as cool, man.
nerds. So
That's all right. They show up to auto shows with no cars.
yeah, fucking Volvo.
The new Tesla farts at you.
I don't even.
That's it. That's all. That's the story. It makes fart noises now.
Yep. So
I can't decide if this is the worst or best thing that Tesla's ever done.
So on the latest over-the-air update, the new Tesla has like an emissions mode.
Yep.
And you can change when you're like if you flip your turn signal on, it'll make like a fart sound.
Yep.
And you have 7 different farts, so it can be like a really long one or like little short ones, and they're named after like Tesla shit or like Elon Musk stuff.
Yeah, they're all kind of references
Yeah,
to
like one's like
things that Elon has done.
The first one's called Not a Fart, but it's like 2 toots. Like not a machine gun or not a flamethrower.
I don't think this is going to work like you want it to, Michael.
We'll try it. Seems to be working just fine. And then it's also got
check yourself before you wreck yourself.
number
Jesus.
7 is random, so it just picks one. So like if you
By the way, that wasn't a recording. That was actually
that was Michael.
yeah.
Hello.
Might have matched. Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know why you would do this.
The weird thing is some engineer got paid good money to program all this in there.
I was digging through there, like looking for, like this was some government mandated bullshit where they had to have an emissions mode,
That would make
emissions testing mode, and Tesla was like, "Are you fucking kidding us?"
That would make sense.
So let's make it fart because then it'd be funny. Couldn't find it. I think they just did it.
Yeah. Just like a little Easter egg that Tesla owners have kind of come to
like
enjoy.
I figured that somewhere in there it would say something about like there's a government mandate that says all cars have to have an emissions testing mode. And they didn't put an EV clause in that law.
Yep.
And Tesla's like, "Are you kidding me? So let's just do this because it's funny."
Nope,
No, I think they just did it because it's funny.
And we're all immature, so of course it's funny.
We laughed at it.
Yeah, I
it's just
laughed.
now.
So it's a thing.
I don't know what to tell you.
No. My car doesn't fart. I just fart.
That's it for this week. This was a long show. It was a good conversation with Kevin.
That was nice.
Yes. Happy New Year, 2019, et cetera, et cetera.
We're looking forward to it.
We're looking forward to 2019. A lot of very exciting
Already.
things coming up. So we will catch you guys in that year. Peace out.